Morning, y'all.
Morning, Utes. What is a Ute?
I had to get a commercial done. I apologize. What's Utes?
Yeah.
That'd be Ute sitting on the front porch drinking a beer.
Isn't that what Joe
I got to go to the
Pesci
potty,
says?
and you just keep going with Utes. Utes is a country slang. How am I teaching you country slang? Is that even legal?
I thought it was like
I think I'm going to be charged with a felony.
Up north, Utes. I've never heard it said except for by Joe Pesci.
Rednecks are the only people that take syllables out of words.
No, not true. People in New York do too. You know, like it's not $5, it's $5. 50 cents. Yeah, you know. So, no, not only rednecks do it. Oh, good morning, Karina. We hadn't seen you all week, last week. Yeah, people are going to think I'm talking to myself. But I'm really talking to Karina. She's not working this week, so she can see us. Karina says good morning from Germany.
I got to take the bus to Rob's at the end of the show. If you can give me a ride. And then I got to get back here because I got to be at the doctor at 1. And I can't forget this time.
No.
They was already nice enough to not choke me out.
And reschedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate when I forget a doctor's appointment.
Here we go, everybody. Hey, everybody. I don't know if it's the weather or what, man. My throat's killing me. It's not killing me, but my congestion is making my throat to where talking is not so good. You know, the pharmacist would tell you to drink a cup of shut the poop up. All right, hang on. I'm going to hear that commercial. That don't sound too bad. Here, I'm going to actually pause it for a second. Not pause it, but fix it where I don't hear it, and let's hear it from the app. All you people watching, you get to see a little behind the scenes.
That's right. The Social House Bar and Grill is located right there in the heart of Porterville. The Social House is taking your eating experience to a whole different level. What they're doing is bringing you the taste of Atlanta right here in the Newton County, Rockdale County area. Go check out the Social House right there in the heart of Porterville. It will give you a whole different experience in that town of Porterville. This is where you need to go to check out the good food, the good acts, all sorts of great things happen at the Social House right there in Porterville.
Cool.
That sounded pretty good.
And action.
We're live.
We're something.
And you need to eat a pickle. Trust me, I know how crazy that sounded, and it was supposed to. Stop looking at me like that.
I don't know what kind of sick, twisted games you redneck white trash people play over there in West Porterdale.
You said your throat hurt.
But I've never told you, okay, next time you tell me your butt hurts, I'm going to be like, well, sit on some corn. Why would that make sense?
Something in the pickle juice helps with the sore throat. The vinegar and the pickle juice.
I can't stand vinegar.
Me neither.
Let me tell you, an old boss man, vinegar cleans glass. Did you know that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So when we took care of the big green pea doing what's called a relamp, which is every 18 months, you have to go in and put all new light bulbs in, whatever. So it was cheaper to buy vinegar and clean the windows than it was to buy Windex. Same result. Well, my boss guy knew how much I hated vinegar. He knew it. So he thought it was going to be funny to start skeeting it out of a squirt bottle. So we ran out the shop. And as we ran out of the shop, he kept running after me, chasing me. This was in like 1997, right? And he caught me and squirted it on my shirt, and then he tried to squirt it in my face, and we were in a gravel parking lot. So what do you think I did? I started chunking gravel at him.
I don't blame you.
Oh yeah, that metal building, when you hear a plum-sized piece of gravel smacking that metal tin, yeah, put a whole nother shock value in there.
Yeah, I used to help take care of this elderly lady, and when it would come to mopping her floor, that's all she wanted me to mop with was the vinegar. And she had it in a little squirt bottle, and I was supposed to spray it on the floor and then mop it up. Because, yeah, it really is a good cleaner. And if your throat hurts, it helps with a sore throat. It helps. It's a natural odor absorber, even though it stinks like it does.
And what's funny is, you're supposed to, I doubt you know anything about this. Do you know that like once a month, if you're a coffee drinker and you make coffee every day, once a month, you should run vinegar through it?
Yeah, through the coffee maker.
Right.
Yeah.
And you should really know this. Do you know that where your dogs or cats skeet or mark their area on the carpet, you soak it down with vinegar? Now, you're going to deal with vinegar smell for, a day or so. But it's got to smell better than that cat pee your house smells like.
Very funny.
Well, when you have that many cats, come on, it's going to smell like cats. There's nothing you can do about it. Did I touch a sensitive situation?
No.
Well, then why are you getting all quiet? If you got cats, then whether you realize it or not, you're going to have that cat piss smell. And you just may be around it so much you don't notice it. But if you have cats, there's going to be cat pee smell because it's in their DNA. They're going to skeet somewhere to mark their spot.
Yeah.
But most cat people have no idea. It's like being a smoker. You're so used to smelling it on your own breath, your own clothes, that you don't realize how it stinks. And then somebody else comes up and goes, "Holy cow."
Yeah.
It does happen.
And one thing that I found out by accident, because if you take baking soda and vinegar, it cleans stuff real good. And I used to do that to clean off the countertops. Well, I dumped a thing of baking soda in the toilet one time, and then I poured the vinegar in it. And
you trying to make a meth lab? What are you doing?
No, it actually it
puts in the vinegar, and it puts in the baking soda, and it puts in the crack pipe. I mean,
no, it actually, without me having to flush the toilet, it actually went down into the toilet and cleaned out it cleaned out the pipes or something. I don't know, but instead of foaming up, hang on one second.
So you just walked over to the toilet.
Mm-hmm.
The water was the correct level.
Yes, the water was the correct
level. And you
level.
poured just some powder in?
I poured the baking powder and the baking soda in. Yes.
And then you just poured how much of vinegar?
Maybe about 2 cupfuls.
And then
it just went.
And then all of the toilet flushed itself.
Yes.
It's a bit odd.
It was crazy. And I told Travis, I said,
were you high, or did you see this on like a normal day?
I saw this on a normal day.
A normal day, you're high. Did you see it on what I would call a normal day?
Yes.
Okay.
And then I called Travis in there. I said, "Hey, did you know this will do this?" And he said, "What are you doing?" And I showed him, and he was like, "Oh, that's pretty neat. Why does it do that?" I said, "I don't know why it does it." Because, that's how they make volcanoes in school. The red lava. They use the baking soda and the vinegar to make the volcano. So I figured it was going to do that. But no, it went the other way.
Okay. Just a bit of confusion here. So you're acknowledging the fact that you knew that they make volcanoes that go and blow out of the volcano.
Yes.
And you were still willing to put that in your toilet, knowing that it could have out of the toilet. But you actually anticipated it to do that, and because it went backwards, you were shocked. I'm shocked that you would do that to your toilet.
I didn't want it to come up out of the toilet, but I was cleaning the toilet, so I was hoping that it would foam up so I could clean it real good, and it could clean underneath the rim and everything. You know?
The floor, and
that's why I only put 2 cups in, because I didn't want it to overflow into the floor. It's not like
Can I ask you a serious question? Did you have like a measuring device to measure 2 cups, or in your brain was 2 cups too quick 2 cups?
No, yes, I had a measuring cup, a regular
I'm
glass
just making
measuring
sure.
cup.
I've seen the coffee cups from Quick Trip you and your old man drink.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it's like Travis's coffee cup is the whole
whole pot.
coffee pot
Yeah.
with a plastic cup and says Quick Trip on the side.
Yeah.
So when you two mention the word cup, I just don't know. I mean, because you two, I think being part redneck, maybe I can grab it a little bit, but I think the word redneck also should have the word extreme in it. Because when we normal folks get muddy, we're talking, oh, my shoes are muddy. That means I might have stepped in some mud, and there may be just enough mud that it's touching the side of my Nike symbol, which means I need to wipe my nice shoe down before I walk in the house on the carpet. But when y'all say y'all got muddy, y'all mean, oh, we can't even come in the yard or in the driveway.
Yeah, we have to get the water hose outside and get the mud off of us before we can even go into the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why am I surprised? I mean, there's no reason for me to be shocked here. I mean, I kind of know. Like I said, y'all are a bit extreme.
Oh yeah. When we get muddy, we get muddy.
No shit. I already know that. Maybe the listeners didn't know that, but I certainly most likely knew all this. So anyways, back to why you were cleaning the toilet to begin with?
Because I clean them.
Just normal cleaning?
Yeah.
Okay. I just didn't, with y'all being so extreme and all, I just didn't know if there was an explosion that might have happened and therefore you had to clean it. So you just did this in normal cleaning. Yeah, you clean it weekly.
Yeah, Saturday. Okay. Every Saturday. Okay.
I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah.
Pardon me. So anything exciting happened between yesterday and today?
I watched Dances with Stars.
Dancing with
Yeah, Dancing
It's not a movie with Kevin Costner.
Oh, I know.
It's Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Not Dancing with Stars. Did you watch like the Kevin Costner version? Dances with Stars, starring Kevin Costner.
Well, last night,
AKA Dances with Wolves.
Last night was salsa night, and they had
You try to dip your chip into the TV or something?
Yeah, they had.
Travis, this flat screen sucks. It's not deep enough. I can't get the chip to go in.
They had Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's daughter, Rumor Willis.
Yeah,
she's on there.
There was a rumor she'd be there.
Yeah.
But come on.
They actually play that song "Rumor Has It" when they're talking about her, but she could actually dance.
It's like Joey Lawrence. Really Joey Lawrence actually could dance when he was on there.
Yeah, I'll look at what he did growing up because he was like one of the first kid stars.
Well, him and all his brothers. That's they all three of them are doing their own thing.
Yeah, because he started out on what was that show?
It's that one with Nell Carter. I can't never remember the name of it.
Was it? It's not Give Me a Break, is it?
I couldn't tell you. It might have been. I don't know. So that's what you did for enjoyment, was watch Dancing with Stars.
Yeah, Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. Dances with Stars. Like if we were starting to do Indian names again, that would have Dancing with Stars.
And then I watched. Well, I set the VCR or the DVD.
The VCR. Wow. That explains a whole lot right there.
The DVR, I meant to say. I set the DVR to record Jimmy Kimmel because Vin Diesel and Van Halen was going to be on there.
And
I ended up getting woke up. So I actually watched it for a little bit. And it was weird seeing Van Halen with short hair. It was
where have you been for like, I don't know, 10 years?
I don't know.
Where have you not, what? They've had short hair for like 10 years.
I don't remember seeing
You've been too busy sniffing
hair.
a toilet bowl. Yeah, 10 years, man. I went and saw them. What? 07, 06, 07, 07. I went to see them when they got back together with David Lee Roth and toured. Mm-hmm. And they had short hair then. They've had short hair for a while. And that Mike Anthony guy wasn't there. And
he
Van Halen, Eddie Van Halen's son's playing bass. And that was back then. They came to Gwinnett Arena.
Huh.
With short hair, by the way.
Eddie Van Halen, he hadn't lost it at all, and he actually looks good for his cancer scare.
Let me tell you, I enjoy David Lee Roth being back with them, but Van Hagar, I like Van Hagar. Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, because if you talk to my aunts and uncles that, grew up and went to school in the early 80s, and they would say that Van Halen is David Lee Roth.
Oh, yeah, of course. I like both. Don't get me wrong. They
yeah.
both have incredible music together.
Yeah. But to me, I like Sammy Hagar. I like it. I like them the most, because it seems like they had more songs with Sammy Hagar.
Yeah, that's a 50-50 opinion. I mean, that's definitely an opinion. I mean, because like you said, so many people are going to tell you that David Lee Roth made Van Halen and not Sammy. But I think it really does come down to personal choice, because I like both of them. Both of them had a very good, it's almost like it was two different bands. You know what I mean? And that's the hard part is David Lee Roth did make Van Halen who they were when he was there.
Yeah.
It's almost like the 70s, early 80s was Van Halen, and the late 80s, 90s was Van Hagar.
Yeah. Now they messed up when they got the lead singer of Extreme.
Yeah, that didn't go so well.
Yeah.
And he could sing, but he just didn't have the oomph that the other two fellas did.
I guess he didn't put on a show like they did,
right,
I guess.
Right. Well, watch out. Garth, whatever his alter ego was, Chris whatever.
Chris Gaines.
He would try to take David Lee Roth. Yeah. Well, I mean, why not? David Lee Roth and Garth try to both wear tight pants, and at their age, they shouldn't be doing that.
Oh, yeah. When he was on stage.
I mean, Garth's blue jeans are as tight as spandex. And at what point does somebody say, dude, you're middle age, quit doing that? And take the sock out of the crotch, because that didn't work in the 70s for most of those bands, and it most certainly isn't working for you.
Yeah, and David Lee Roth last night, he was on stage with he didn't have a shirt on, and he had a blue jean jacket. There's a still picture, and I did not know that on his side, he has, on both of his sides, has a big, huge tattoo.
Oh, who would have known?
Yeah, but I was reading this article. He ended up hurting his nose. He hit himself in the nose with the microphone and had to run off stage.
It happens. Look, I've had my front teeth chipped several times now. I mean, heck, the very last time one of my front teeth got chipped was at the American Legion in Loganville. Remember, I do the first person game.
Yeah.
And the guy was running and then slid to try to stop, and he bumped my arm and rammed my microphone right up into my two front teeth and chipped the bottom of a tooth.
I think we were there that
y'all
night
were
with
there.
y'all.
That's happened more times than you can imagine, which is why I now try to wear that headset mic so that kind of stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It just sucks, man. It just sucks to be holding that in front of your mouth. And it's like somebody, when you used to drink the old Coke bottles and somebody would tap the bottle. It happens, though. It's such as life. It happens.
Shoot, I broke a tooth.
Yeah, but you were eating cantaloupe, Steph.
No, actually, I was eating cornbread.
Oh, that's even worse. How did you break a tooth on cornbread?
It had that.
Look, when that stuff sat on the table for 6 weeks, just because cornbread's naturally a little dry, doesn't mean that you let it sit there for 6 weeks. That green stuff was not mayo.
It had that stupid crackle and stuff in it, or whatever it's called.
That stupid crack in it is what it had. Oh my God! You apparently don't know your drugs because you don't sniff crack.
See?
Apparently, you have no idea how to do drugs.
I told you I don't do drugs.
Steph picks up a crack rock and starts trying to shove it in her vein. They're like, "What are you doing?" I don't know. I was just putting it there. Wow. Good Lord. And then if you melted the crack into liquid form, she'd probably dab her fingers in it and start rubbing it in on her face. This is great moisturizer.
I was trying to find a big picture of it, but that's the only picture I can find, and you can't really see it.
Oh, that's more chest plates.
So is that what it would be called?
Yeah. And he's into taekwondo and all sorts of other types of martial art.
Yeah, he actually did the kick, the Panama kick that he does in the video. He did that last night on stage.
Yeah, that's how in the jump video he was able to do all the stuff he does. I mean, that's what he does.
Yeah, or jump. Jump was the one. Yeah.
Boy, you're confused this morning. You're like, yeah, yeah.
Well, they did Panama because they're going to be on there for 3 nights. And last night they did Panama, Hot for Teacher, and Jump.
Okay.
And Running with the Devil, they were going.
So tonight they'll be on?
Yes.
And it's on Jimmy Fallon?
Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel. Okay. Because I was going to say, I got Fallon where it records most of the time. So Jimmy Kimmel, I have to try to get that just so I can see it.
Yeah.
It'd just be neat to see.
And it seemed like he forgot some of the lyrics when they were singing.
Well, the thing is, you got to give these singers some prop, because them boys have to remember, and girls have to remember so many lyrics.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you think about it, we got to remember things too, but that's some what they remember. Excuse me, is a little harder than most.
Oh, yeah, because he's got how many songs?
That's the thing too. And some how long ago?
The 70s, at least.
And not counting if they're having a bad day, you know, or I don't know. There's so many things to it when it comes to singing, and then they have to keep their rhythm perfect to be able to keep up with the music. And sometimes those guys, when they're playing live, they're not necessarily keeping the tempo. They may speed up a little, they may slow down a little bit. There's not a whole lot you can do. Yeah,
and he kind of got off key a little bit, and he was able to pull it back though. So,
well,
I mean, I would love to go. I'd love to go see him live.
I tell you, it was a great concert. Now, he didn't. When I went to see him, they didn't do any Hagar music.
Really?
Which kind of sucks because it's still Van Halen. Either way.
Yeah,
but it just kind of sucks that you didn't get to hear some of the songs. I mean, it was cool though, because you got to hear Hot for Teacher, you got to hear the true songs you grew up with. That was David Lee Roth. But again, some of the songs that you wish they would have done, they couldn't pull off.
Yeah, because I don't think David Lee Roth could have done Dreams. No way.
So, but you know, the funny is this. You got a different bass player, and he's playing all of the music, and then you have David Lee Roth, who doesn't want to sing any of the Hagar stuff, and then it makes you wonder when Hagar is there, you know. And you do know that they actually went on tour one time with Sammy and David Lee Roth.
Yeah.
And dude, when that happened, I remember reading so many reports and listening to so many different interviews where they were talking about, and last night, David Lee Roth, who is in one room, is pouting, and Hagar, who's in another room, is pouting. And the show itself was what was getting hurt because nobody would go out there and do it.
Yeah, that's what I heard too, that they were, their egos were getting the better of them when they were on tour together.
Yeah, but I mean, they're both awesome in their own way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just both pretty cool in their own way. And a lot of things, you know, people only remember like Sammy doing I Can't Drive 55, but Sammy was famous before Van Halen. I mean, he already had several good hits before Van Halen come knocking on the door, or vice versa, however you want to word it. But Sammy was a rocker all on his own.
Yes, he was. And I liked his music because, he had a career going before he became the front man for Van Hagar. And a lot of people didn't know that. Like, finish what you started. No, that is. Yeah,
I'm waiting for you to finish what you started because you keep stopping. No, Jeff Mathias said they had two completely different sounds of Van Halen.
Yeah.
But the one thing that I can say I like completely about Van Halen is Alex's drums. You distinctly know when he's playing. And Van Halen, you know, as far as Eddie, when Eddie's playing, you know it's Eddie. So the only good thing between both, would you call it genres? Would you call it, I don't even know what you would word it, because it's almost like two separate bands. But you could still hear that one thing that kept it whole. And I mean, I think that was very important for them as well, because just because you're switching singers don't mean that you should lose any of the popularity of the bands, et cetera, you know, it seems to me. Of course, I'm muttering over my words here.
Oh yeah, because there's nothing like Eddie Van Halen playing guitar.
Well, you know, hey, look, I admit he was like bad to the bone in his day. Now, I'm not saying he's not at this point, because that would be kind of ridiculous to me. I mean, he is Eddie Van Halen, but there was so many other people like Yngwie. Does anybody remember Yngwie Malmsteen? You know, Yngwie was like God on a guitar. You know,
Joe Satriani.
Steve Vai was incredible. So let's shoot off to a commercial, everybody. Actually, I just faded over just a little bit. Everybody hang tight. It's just for fun in the morning.
What time is Joey supposed to get here?
Should have taken a hot shower this morning. Stuck all that steam in my chest. Got all the
Can you not hear me? Yeah, we're just not talking.
Good Lord. I didn't know that much stuff could be in my nostrils.
Ew. Was it clear or green?
Neither. It's just congestion, man. Like, you remember like a month ago, you know, I was so sick, and then I started eating pills to dry it up. Problem is now it's all dry, but it's just like, God, I got to get it out. And then everybody's talking about the pollen being so horrible right now. So
You need to get some you need to get some saline solution, or try one of those neti pots. I love mine. Oh, I'm glad you like that, Jacob.
what?
He said it's hilarious that I'm answering his texts out loud. It's a lot easier than typing.
It
back
is,
to
as
you.
long as it's something that can be discussed.
Yeah, he asked if we muted the sound, and I was like, no,
What?
we're just not talking. He asked if we muted the sound on the
Oh,
video.
I was in the bathroom.
Yeah, that's.
And you were singing into the mic.
No, I had the mic pushed away.
Well, I could hear you. I mean, I don't know.
And I had my hand covering on because I didn't want everybody to hear me.
Oh my God.
But
it's like the first time we went live, you were sitting under the speaker, under the camera, singing some Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
No, I don't worry about the cameras, Def. It's just catching you singing. It's okay.
Hey, at least I was in tune.
I'm not criticizing. I was just saying.
But if you listen to him,
Who?
David Lee Roth, when he was on his own, that kind of had a Van Halen sound to it.
Who? Oh, yeah. Well, because it's David Lee Roth. I mean,
yeah.
I'm going to play a second of Joe Satriani.
And Jacob, you got a good morning from Germany, from Karina.
Oh, goodness gracious, man. Got a lot to do today.
I got to go to the gym. Travis is going out of town for the rest of the week.
Recognize this?
Mm-hmm. I thought that was it, and I was like, wait a minute.
I'm letting it play just a few seconds. All right, everybody, we're coming back. I just wanted to let a little bit of that play because, when we start talking about the guitar guys, you know what? I like Steve Vai, even though people have called him a jerkwad for all these years. Ever since I saw the movie Crossroads and watched him jam out as the guitar player for the devil,
Yeah. And then I've always, of course, Stevie Ray Vaughan. Stevie Ray Vaughan was good.
And see, I didn't do a whole lot with Stevie. I don't know. When I was a child, if you call it that, a teen, Stevie Ray Vaughan just didn't do it for me. He did one song called Crossfire in the early 90 time frame. And that's the song I liked then. Then that's when I started kind of liking him. And then he went down in the whole helicopter crash.
Yeah.
So about the same time that I started liking him, he passed away. Yeah. And then, it's just timing. It's all about timing. Everything else in this world's about timing. So is that.
Yeah. Speaking of timer.
Oh.
And I liked, Travis, actually, we were having the whole guitar dispute, who was the greatest guitar player of all time. Or
I think it comes down to types of guitar players versus one. Right. I don't know that you could ever say one is the best because they all are different in different ways.
Yeah, and always the first one that everybody says is Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, I mean everybody's always going to say that because he didn't live long enough to be beat, to destroy. That's a hard way to put it that way, but
yeah,
because he died at the height of his career, what have you.
Yeah, and he played the guitar backwards pretty much because he played a right-handed guitar.
Yeah, but didn't Stevie Ray do it the same way?
I don't know.
I thought he was left-handed.
I don't know.
But yeah, you hear the two people that you hear the most would be those two.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I mean,
Eddie
good
Van
God,
Halen.
I mean, Eddie Van Halen was good in his way. And then Joe Satriani plays it like somebody would a piano. He just is so talented. Just Fun Radio.
Good morning, just for fun.
Just for fun? Really? What are you doing?
Just for fun. Well, you're missing a co-host, so I left the in off.
No, we're not missing nobody. Keep going.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Pretty good. What you thinking?
Got some info for you.
Uh-oh, that could be dangerous. Info about what?
Since y'all were on this hour-long Van Halen, Van Hagar kick,
It's not been an hour. We only went live like a little more than 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But now we're faded into more of a who's who.
Yeah.
So,
Guitarist.
okay, well, that's cool.
So what's your thought?
But Van Halen actually had 6 albums from 78 to 84 with David Lee Roth.
Right.
Okay.
Then they had 4 albums from 86 to 95 with Hagar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They had the 1 album in 98 with David Sharon.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2012, they went back to David Lee Roth. So they've actually had 7 albums with David Lee Roth compared to the 4 with Hagar. I like the older Halen. Diver Down on Women and Children First, all those. I mean, I'm more of a hard rocker than I am that kind of like pop rock, as I would call it, with Hagar. I mean, I like Hagar too, but I'm just kind of
which one had more hits? Not just albums, but which had more successful hits? That's the question.
I think Hagar
actually, 1984 was their biggest
Their
album.
biggest album was 1984.
Jump
Yep.
was their only song that ever hit number 1.
That's right.
And then they had 2 other songs from the same album.
That was their biggest selling album ever.
Mhm.
Was
Yep.
Jump.
Panama, and I think it was I'll Wait. Both hit number 13.
So, yep.
Isn't that the one that had Hot for Teacher on it? It was
I believe so.
1984?
Yes.
Yeah, it was. That's when they kind of switched over a little bit towards the pop side
Pop
of
rock.
rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
And some say that's why
Roth left?
David Lee Roth left, because he really didn't want to go towards the pop side, from what I understand. But, I mean, I like them both. I'm like Scott. I like all music.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's your opinion about the guitarist?
I'm sorry?
What's your opinion about the guitarist? Who do you think is a good guitarist? Or did you not hear that conversation that we were talking about?
Just talking about y'all. We're talking about Hendrix and Stevie Ray Vaughan and Steve Vai and all them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a tough call because you got so many excellent guitarists out there. I mean, Jimmy Page is one of my favorite. I mean, I'm a huge Zeppelin fan, though, so I'm kind of favorites to him. I like Joe Satriani. I mean, to be able to make albums like he did with no vocals.
And then also Peter Frampton, he was good, but he did more with that voice thing. What is that called?
I mean, it's so hard to say.
Tricks, man. It's just tricks. Tricks are for kids.
And then I have from a listener, Randy Rhoads, which
and you yes, I was going to say people.
Say Randy Rhoads.
That's right. You've had so many people say Slash is the best. I'm like, really? No. Slash is not that.
Nah.
Don't get me wrong. He's not bad. But he's not that.
He taught himself.
Mick Mars is not. You know what I mean? Some people are just stuck on that popularity,
that grunge,
making it better than what it was.
And do you know that Travis had no idea who Jeff Beck was?
Yeah, Jeff Beck's a legend all by himself.
Exactly.
Dickie Betts.
Because that's what we were talking about when we were talking about it. And I said, well, Jeff Beck's up there too with the best of them. And he said, who is that?
That's the catch is, well, and the thing too is back years ago, the bands were just called bands. They were just going by their names, and you didn't hear a lot about the other names in the band. I mean, you know, it's kind of like,
I mean, you look at,
go ahead.
Allman Brothers. I mean, you think of Greg and Dwayne Allman.
That's right. You never name anybody else.
Dickie Betts,
right,
and all the other ones that were in the band.
So that just happens. I mean, unfortunately, it just like the band Dawkins. I mean, who can name people from Dawkins?
George Lynch, Don Dawkins.
People
that's
that
all I know.
Stop Googling it. Stop Googling it.
But that's the catch, though, is why are you remembering that? Because it was during the 80s pop metal phase where that's when you started hearing names. Yeah. Before the 80s, you didn't hear all the band members' names. You just name somebody from Deep Purple. There you have it. That's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Well, that was kind of before my time, though.
But what I'm saying is back then it was more about the popularity of the band and not necessarily a guitarist. I mean,
exactly.
You know, George Lynch was a hell of a guitarist, but you don't ever hear about it.
Right.
you know.
And then, he went off and had, after he left Dawkins, he had Lynch Mob.
Yeah.
And they had a couple of good songs.
I mean, he even taught guitar to a lot of people, but a lot of people don't know that, and that's the point. Warren DeMartini from Rat was one hell of a guitarist and become a teacher after the band started fading away. And he started giving back, I think he's in like upstate New York or whatever, and he started giving back, helping underprivileged children learn how to play, blah, 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 blah. Super great. But the thing is in the 80s is when it became kind of Barbie dollish.
Yeah.
It's like you got, well, it's like, okay, here's summer Barbie and here's winter Barbie and here's ice skating Barbie. And they were all just starting to get their names out. And it's just weird. But, I remember when Van Halen first, when all the names of everybody started becoming a popularity thing, and that was about the time the 1984 album came out. But before that, you didn't hear a lot about people. I mean, everybody knew who Eric Clapton was, but it was just because he was who he was.
There's one of the guitarists y'all didn't mention.
Oh, yeah. Look, I'll say it like this, though, and I can have as much hate mail as ever. I think one of the best guitarists on the planet right now would be John Mayer.
Oh, yes. Most definitely.
Anybody that wants to argue that, go to YouTube and type in John Mayer.
Yeah.
And I believe it's John Mayer versus DJ. And I found this video, it was probably 5 or 6 years ago. He's in like Brooklyn. There's a DJ, kind of like the Jam Master Jay from Run DMC DJ. And he's sitting there playing music, and John Mayer's just sitting there like on a milk crate or something. He's just sitting there, and there's this party on this patio. Everybody's just kind of having fun, and the guy's got the camera on John Mayer, and the DJ's mixing it up, and the beat's going, and then John's just kind of tapping his foot, and then all of a sudden he just starts playing, and he's playing to every song that this DJ's throwing out, and it is absolutely incredible. So for anybody to say John Mayer's not talented, you go watch this. The dude's just listening to a beat and just starts making all this come out of a guitar. It's amazing. Now, if people want to say Clapton and Mayer together, yeah, in Clapton's day, maybe he was the king of guitar, and maybe everybody's entitled to an opinion. But John Mayer, to me, hands down, on the planet right now, is probably one of the, well, I'm not going to say but he's probably one of the most talented guys on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the other thing you just said is in their time.
In their times.
I mean, each decade goes by. I mean, you got different people that really stand out based on their talent, their music, what they can do with it.
Right.
Instruments. I mean, you think about it, you've gone on for so long about guitarists. What about bassists and drummers and
Oh yeah, because when you start getting into,
all I ever hear when you start comparing musicians, it's usually either the vocalist or the guitarist that's always mentioned. It's rare that anybody ever mentions like the bassist or the drummer. They're always kind of back seat of it all.
Yeah, and most drummers, not drummers, but bassists, it's Flea. Everybody wants to say Flea is the best, but the bass player from Blink-182 is pretty cool too. I mean, there's some cool guys out there. There's no doubt about it. Back in the 70s, and I mean, not 70s, but I guess it would be late 70s, 80s. Billy Sheehan was like one of the greatest bass players alive,
Yes.
Yeah, I think it.
Yeah, here's Carlos Santana. I just got that text.
Yes, he's good.
That Carlos Santana. And Carlos, I'll give you this. Carlos Santana he kind of got passed by a lot. I mean, he just kind of got missed. It just goes to show that if you're not in the in crowd, you just get overlooked. Yeah, DJ Scott, he's definitely not in the in crowd because I get overlooked on a lot of stuff.
And didn't
he came out with that album Supernatural where he did all the collaborations, really showed his true talent and his ability.
Yeah,
I mean, he showed his range on the guitar. It was pretty awesome. Now, probably as far as drummers, I'd have to go with Neil Peart. That would be from Rush.
And Joey must be listening because he just said Les Claypool from 311. 311 is who I was thinking about, not Blink-182. I do apologize for that. 311. I went to the Blue Iguana or whatever it was, the Green Lizard or something off of Marietta Street.
Sounds like a gay bar.
No, it's just where a lot of cool local talent used to go. in the late 90s.
Yeah.
And there was a dude, 311 was kind of at their height, at their height right then and there. And this dude was doing it, and I mean, he stole the show. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This cat started playing, and it didn't matter what the guitarist was doing. Mm-hmm. This dude was like 99 pounds soaking wet. The bass looked like it was bigger than him. And when he got on that, holy cow.
It's amazing. Another good bassist, and I couldn't even tell you the name, Sublime.
Yeah, and that's really good too. Don't get me wrong. There's tons of talent. I think it just goes back to who likes their music, Wouldn't it be something to see a country band break out and do something? Because, I didn't know Keith Urban could play the guitar until I seen Keith Urban live. Keith Urban, holy cow. And Brad Paisley, both of them on guitar is incredible, but you wouldn't know it because country music doesn't do that. You don't see guitar solos in country music.
Brian Adams is pretty good on the
guitar. Brian Adams is pretty good too. Yeah, and my first foremost, it was nice when we used to have movie stars in here, don't get me wrong, or actors trying to be movie stars. But to me, music is always, seeing a movie just occupies your brain. Don't get me wrong, people can say, I watched The Notebook and it changed my life. Yes, you can say that. But how many songs have you listened to that either, the thing I love about music, and this is what I tell people when I do weddings and everything else, I can do a wedding, play your favorite song at the wedding. I can have the grandma or the grandpa that's sitting at the table hear a song and remember their wedding, remember when they went to the beach one time, remember when their kids might have been born, when their grandkids might have been born. At the same event, I could have another guy right there that might have been in the Army that's thinking of whatever song I played might trigger a memory for him. And then what's funny is when you leave that wedding, those people from that wedding will forever remember whatever song might have played at that point of that wedding. Yeah. And the thing is I can make or break a party. I can make you happy. I can make you sad. I can trigger emotions. And I don't even know I'm doing it sometimes because I play a song. I mean, like Jeff Beck, I can play, Jeff Beck, People Get Ready. Oh, yeah. And some people only think of Rod Stewart singing it. But when you do think of it, you remember, where were you? I was sitting in my grandmother's house. It was early 80s. Jeff Beck, Rod Stewart were on a train coming into this town. So forever I will remember these little things. And that's the thing about music that I love, because it triggers so much emotion, so much memory. And movies don't necessarily do it.
Backseat of a 67 Chevy.
What was you doing and with who?
I was
not details, not full details, but tell me.
Sleeping off a hangover.
And for what?
Because he had to sleep. I
don't remember the song I was sleeping.
You don't remember what?
I was kidding.
Oh, okay.
When you remember a song, I'm like, I was sleeping in the back seat of a 67 Chevy.
Well, when you think about it, that's what I try to say. When you think about stuff, like for me, I was never a Peter Frampton fan. I didn't believe I was. And Jeff moves in my house, throws on some Peter Frampton. All of a sudden, I'm like, damn, that's who that was. I mean, I did like one or two songs. Same thing, Pink Floyd. I wasn't a real big Pink Floyd fan until me and Jeff were there one night, and Marshall Bragg and all these other people started talking about going to the Pink Floyd laser thing that was happening in Atlanta, and everybody went and jumped on a train and went to that. And because we kept playing Pink Floyd in the house, I realized it. Like, I was not a Doors fan, or at least I didn't believe I was a Doors fan until I watched a movie with Val Kilmer. Yeah. I watched the movie, and then all those years I said I didn't like the Doors, and then I start hearing Come On Baby Light My Fire, and I'm like, holy cow, I do like that song, but I didn't know that was the Doors. So a lot of times I didn't even know what I was listening to.
Exactly.
CCR for years. Kathy Bragg's going to kick me right in my zipper area. I did not care for CCR for years. and then about the time I grew up a little more and I started appreciating music in a different level, when I went from thinking Drop the Bomb on Me and Eddie Grant's Electric Avenue, when I thought that was real music, and then I discovered CCR, and then that totally changes everything. So Kathy Bragg, there you go.
And it's funny how long they were together before they actually became CCR, because their original band name was the Gollywags.
See, I didn't know that. I've never researched
it. These big blonde afros. that they wore that their manager had them wear at some of the concerts. So they were around for a decade before they actually hit it big at CCR, and then they didn't last but 3 or 4 years.
And you know, the cool thing is Fogerty. People don't give John Fogerty a lot of credit.
Yeah.
But what you don't realize is when you go into the studio, you'll not all the time. Now, I mean, you see some of the old movies, and the old movies like Buddy Holly story and some of the Elvis stuff, that it makes you believe that the bands always recorded as all of them playing at one time, and that's how they recorded it. But there is so many times when they only record a drum track, and then they only record the guitar track, and then they blend it all together. And John Fogerty, what a lot of people don't know is probably the last decade, anything that he's been part of is just him. As far as recording, he'll play the drum track by listening to headphones and hearing whatever previous track there is.
Mm-hmm.
Then he'll play the guitar while listening to the headphones to whatever track. And he records all the tracks. He is his own one-man band unless he plays live.
If y'all think Scott is meticulous and a perfectionist about his station, John Fogerty, he was a total maniac when it came down to that. I mean, we had a guy that I played poker with. I hadn't seen him in a while. We were talking one night, and Scott had a CCR song come across while I was listening to the station playing poker, and it was like, oh man, I got this book you got to read. And it's the complete story about CCR called Bad Moon Rising.
Mm-hmm.
And I made it through, I don't know, maybe about 100 pages of it, I think. I was reading it when I was flying up to Jersey one time. And it is very interesting about how much of a control freak he was about his music and how much of a perfectionist it was. And he pushed pretty much everybody away during that time to become such a perfectionist on it. It's a pretty cool story. I mean, if you ever get a chance to read it.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah.
If I ever get a chance to stop and finish reading it, I'd love to finish the book. But it was what I read to the point, it was pretty cool.
I bet you there's just tons and tons of information that are little things that kind of tell you how something led to something else, and we just don't know it. I bet you there are so many things that's gone on that we just don't even know. I mean, you know, if you think about it, because everybody's got a story. I mean, heck, every one of us, just as people, regular people, have a story of what made us change our mind to go a different route, to become this or become that. And, you know, the thing is you look at some of these cats who gave up huge careers as one thing to try to pursue the singing thing, and look where they ended up.
Yeah, there was a show a couple of months back that was on, and it was about Alice Cooper. And it, you know, started it telling about before he became Alice Cooper, which I did not know that Alice Cooper at first was a band. It was the name of the band, and it wasn't just directed towards him.
Oh, see, I didn't know that either.
And then he took it, I can't remember his real name. He took it and he became Alice. And it talked about his stout with drugs and alcohol, and, you know, it was a pretty interesting story.
Well, that's pretty neat to hear.
Yeah, there are pretty interesting stories out there. I mean, you think rock and roll, heavy metal, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And I remember seeing an article, or reading an article, or interview with Ted Nugent, and he said the only reason why he got into rock and roll was for the sex. He said he rarely drank, he never did drugs. It was just about the sex.
Wow.
That's the only reason why he got into it.
That right there is just like a weird statement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who would have known?
I mean, exactly. You look at Ted Nugent, and that's what you picture. It's pretty good.
I got in it for the chicks.
Yeah, he's an interesting character. And like one of Scott's favorites, Huey Lewis. I mean, he was a math teacher before he became Huey Lewis.
Oh, yeah, because let me tell you, Huey Lewis is a lot of people don't want to give him credit for who he is. But, I mean, if you ever really, truly just get to hear him sing, not even just as a band, but just him as a person, it's amazing. Like, they did that movie called Duets, and it was about karaoke, and everybody wants to say it was a horrible movie. It was actually a pretty good movie if you're into music. If you're not into music, then no, you're not going to like the movie. You're going to think it was garbage. But if you're into music and you really enjoy people who can really sing, it's kind of a cool movie to watch. And when you hear him sing, it is incredible just to hear some of the things that come out of his mouth. And he really is a talent. And again, it kind of goes back to some people have the voice and some people don't.
Yep. Well, like in several upcoming talents, local talent, Cheyenne Knight, she's got an incredible voice. Dustin Bragg.
Oh yeah.
And Aaron Hill Band. I mean,
and
I didn't really get to hear everybody like Katie Wolf. I didn't get to hear her that well. Who was the other girl that was playing that night at the tavern?
I can't remember because there was a few. And you put me on the spot when you asked me that. And I'm like,
Oh, Presley.
Oh, yes, Presley Adams. Or Presley Amber Sullivan.
Right. I didn't really get to hear her that much, but I love Cheyenne's voice. She just had a great voice. Aaron Hill, she's got a good voice. She's got a personality to go with it. So you got a lot of local talent too that's going to be up and coming.
Oh yeah.
And then in 15, 20 years, you're going to have another DJ Scotty sitting there discussing how great they were and where they came from.
You never know. I mean, that's the catch. You just never know.
Definitely. Well, guys, I tell you what, I need to get to work.
Yeah, we got to get to a commercial too.
I just heard y'all talking about Van Halen and all the albums and everything. I had to chime in on that.
Right. All right, man.
DJ Scotty.
Yes, sir.
I know you're a busy man, but we got a date coming up real soon that's very important. So if you could give me a call, got a few things to discuss with you, would be awesome.
All right. And look, as soon as the show's over, I got to get my bus to Rob's Performance to get it serviced. And then Steph will be bringing me back home. And then I'll try to call you. So it'll probably be lunch. If you don't hear from me by 1 o'clock, hit me up. And that means anybody else. That means anybody else. Jeff's calling me at 1 o'clock. Don't call me at 1 o'clock. I've got to talk to Jeff at 1 o'clock. He's got a wedding. We gotta make his music list up for his wedding, and then while you're at it, Jeff, go ahead and figure out your funeral music too, because if you act up, she may just off you.
Oh, we stopped, got our marriage license yesterday. The lady, we had her cracking up the entire time that she was there, and we're like, well, we did it just for fun, and she's just kind of looking at us like, huh? And so we started telling her about the station, so she actually jotted down your station so that she may start listening to it. So
cool.
I told her to give you a call.
Cool.
And so on the way home, it was funny, we were coming down Johnson Road up in Lawrenceville, and a funeral procession goes by. It wasn't but like 7 cars, so I felt bad for the person. I looked over at Bree. I said, if y'all go by, you better have the windows down and the system up and people hanging out the windows with beers when I die. I want it to be a celebration.
That's right. All right. Well, let me shoot out of here.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
See you later.
Bye, Jeff.
Bye.
All right, everybody. Just to prove the voice in which I'm talking about. Here is Huey Lewis singing Lonely Teardrops. May not be your cup of tea. You might not like this kind of music, but I'm promising you, this cat right here has got just an incredible voice, whether people believe it or not. I mean, heck, I even like Michael Bublé. Most people don't want to believe he is very good either, but come on. You need to check out some of these other worlds of music and not be stuck on just one type of music. I mean, look, do you only eat one kind of ice cream?
No.
I mean, do you only eat spaghetti and you never try lasagna? Do you only eat one type of pizza? Then come on, don't narrow mind your life. You need to explore other options in this world. All right, everybody, hang tight. We'll be right back. Yeah. What? Yeah. A lonely teardrop. Oh, God, camera's on. Sorry. I forgot. Of course, my voice is shot. but I love this song. Say you will. This is one of my favorites, man. I listen to this when we get ready for events. Crying a lonely teardrop. A lonely teardrop. Oh. Got to get the camera ready. There's more folks coming than I ever thought was coming today. Well, Nesbitt's on the way, and then I just found out about another guy that's coming. See, I now know you're the culprit. I want to smack your head.
What?
How the fuck you get so much water behind my sink?
I don't know. Do I?
Yeah, it's all up on the fucking mirror. I mean, how did you do that? I'm trying to figure out who's doing it. I'm like, why? There's so much water back there.
I'm sorry.
Good Lord. Now, there's a guy who does, his name's Coach Martin, but he does all the videos for Oz. So he's on the way in with Oz. So there's two. Joey's on his way, three. And then Corey. So, I don't know.
There ain't gonna be really room for Corey to be on a
Well, he won't be on the mic. He'll be sitting here.
observing.
Yep, that's what we wanted to do. Is come in. But,
Do we need to move the?
oh, so then that gives Joey, Oz, Marcus, and Corey a chance to squeeze in.
Did Mike take his headphones
Yeah.
with him?
I didn't expect so many folks at one time.
I know, that's pretty wild. All
right, we's back. We're trying to get set up. I knew of a couple of people that were coming, but we fixing to have a packed house.
Oh, did you hiccup?
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought for a second the mic.
Well, I was
cut
trying
off.
not to breathe into the mic and make noise.
Oh.
You know, that happens. I try not to just lean into the mic and burp real nasty and loud.
Yeah, when I feel one coming, I usually push the microphone away and put my hand over my mouth and back away from the mic. So somebody's here already. So the box office results are in for the movies that came out over the weekend.
Okay, which is
Well, the number one movie is the little cartoon movie Home. Have you seen the?
No, I don't even know what that is.
It is.
Keep talking.
It is about a an alien, I guess he is. He's an alien that comes to the Earth, and he gets with this little girl, and she's trying to fight. Which the little girl is played by Rihanna, and the alien is played by Jim Parsons, Sheldon from. The Big Bang Theory.
I think I remember like something being said about
I'm
this.
hands in my air. My hands are waving in the air like they just don't care. He says that in the movie.
I vaguely, but go on with the polls and.
Well, that's the number one. movie. It grossed over 52 million.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And then the second one is that new movie with Kevin Hart and Will Ferrell, Get Hard.
The one Get Hard
Yeah.
about going to prison. And it's so funny because seeing Kevin, I didn't realize Kevin was so small. As far as stature, his size.
Yes.
I just did not know he was such a small fella.
Yeah, he is.
He's a small fella.
But yeah, it grossed 33 million, so it got beat pretty good by a cartoon.
It only
movie.
grossed. Well, there's a big difference here. The adults that might have gone to see the Kevin movie was probably not able to go because the kids.
Yeah.
Mama. Can't you just see that?
Yeah.
I mean, I know a little boy that every time he says, daddy, 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 the daddy wants to backhand him, but he's like, what, son? Don't you see I'm talking?
Mm-hmm.
And he'll just keep saying daddy until he stops what he's doing to say what. So with that being said, I can see why kids' movies do so well.
Yeah.
If it's $10 to make him shut up, they'll just give him $10.
I can't wait to see what Furious 7's going to do this weekend because, it comes out Friday.
I'm a little disappointed in some of the Furious movies because we know in the first movie when they were shifting gears and hitting gas pedals, they did some computer generated stuff so you could see the fuel go from where he pushes the nitrous button and you see the tube. And I think that's kind of cool. I think that's pretty cool to see that be done because you get kind of backhand knowledge of how the nitrous in the motor works. I get that. I understand that. I see why you do that. But when you start showing cars, wherever you want, when you start showing those cars come in and make jumps that's not I can't even say genetically possible, but when you start seeing these cars physically do jumps that's nowhere near possible.
Yeah.
Not the one now, but the last one where they jump like across an expressway.
Yeah.
Like there's two expressways on top of bridges and he's jumping across one bridge across a good 12-foot span to another one. So humanly, let's think about this. The span's probably 12 feet. Each vehicle's off that curved line by 2 feet. So now our 12 feet has become 16 feet. And you want me to believe that you jumped from this across all that and you're a human and you just flew 12 feet without your Superman cape.
Yeah. And well, I did not know that they had Paul Walker in the whole Furious 7 movie. But when Jimmy Kimmel was talking to Vin Diesel last night, that's what they said. So apparently they did some kind of computer generated.
I was going to say they computer generated, and then rumor has it that his brother stood in as a
like
fill-in,
thing.
To kind of compensate for the moments that they didn't already have footage videoed,
and that they could do it far enough away that you could
something along those lines.
Yeah. Well, I'm just getting on this conversation, but let me just say to all the Paul Walker fans out there, they really appreciate that magic moment of doing whatever they do in the Hollywood to make that happen. I mean, there are tons of Paul Walker fans, and I tell you, that is a lot of respect for that young man, because for those folks that are part of creating that production, to think enough to have him in the movie. Physically, he was there for real, and then they had to do a few little creative things that Hollywood does.
Oh yeah,
but I think that is just, that's wonderful,
right? And they're basically saying this movie, this is his last movie ever, and this is the tribute to him. And then the question they say is, do we do another one? Has Fast and the Furious gone as far as it can go? Since originally it was about him being an undercover cop to begin with.
Well, I think they can do another one, but it's a phenomenal thing about the impact he as an individual had on each actor. When you get a chance to hear from each one of those actors and they talk about how he personally impacted their personal lives, man, it's just amazing. And it's amazing even what you guys do on a day-to-day basis. People take for granted what kind of positive impact we have on lives of people we're touching, and just even folks sitting here around in the studio here. You just never know what kind of message you send. And I was coming in on the tail end of what you were talking about, but I really appreciate what they've done and what they're doing. And this movie is going to be, it's going to be a big seller, no doubt.
That's right.
And Vin Diesel actually named his daughter that I believe he said she was 2.5 weeks old last night, actually named his daughter Pauline.
She did.
After,
he did.
After and I saw a picture about that.
That was. He said that Paul insisted that he pull away from the set and make it to the hospital on the day that the baby was being born.
Right.
And that was just really. He said, "No, you got to get out of here. You got to go." You know, he said he told him that his wife's water had just broken, and he says, "Look. You got to get out of here and take care of it." And he said, had it not been for Paul Walker pushing him, it wouldn't have.
That's right.
Side note: did anybody see The Rock on Saturday Night Live?
No.
It was. I've only seen clips.
Is this the clip of the Bambi thing?
The Bambi thing.
Okay, I didn't
and then
get
the
to see
wrestling
it.
promos. You need to see the wrestling promos where it's wrestlers taking the promos too far. I posted it on Facebook.
We'll have to look.
It's hilarious.
And by the way, we got Joey the voice that just came in.
Who overslept.
Our commissioner, Oz Nesbitt, just came in.
And we got a special guest is on the way. I don't know whether you've announced that or not.
No, I did not. I was waiting to see.
Okay, well, we'll just see what how the wind blows. But while we're in this, I just want to take a moment. Number one, to say thanks to Just for Fun Radio, DJ Scotty, Stephanie, the whole crew, and all of the listeners out there who are tuned in each and every day, religiously listening and supporting this radio station. We certainly do appreciate you lending a ham.
Man, that was a good time.
I know DJ Scotty has already talked about the huge success. I couldn't wait to get here.
No, I actually didn't discuss it because I was waiting for you to get here.
Oh, well,
I wasn't even gonna. It was like opening the soda pop.
I watched the video.
Oh my goodness, it's amazing. One of the posts I put on Facebook, Stephanie said that this was one of those moments that make you cry, laugh, and smile all at the same time, because we're talking about impacting people's lives. Right. And the way one lady said that she had 25 grandchildren.
Whoa.
And
no, that is no joke. She said that.
And one of her grandchildren happened to come up, and she says, no, she really does. And so we gave her 2 hams.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even know that would have been enough.
And she said that all of them were going to be at her home or at her house on Easter this coming Sunday, on Easter Sunday for the dinner. So it was just an amazing. Thanks so much to Just for Fun Radio. The Linda Ham Project was a huge success, and it was a huge success probably in a large part because of Just for Fun Radio and the effort and you guys pushing people to come out and lend those hams.
What's really cool too is, and I didn't really, when I was making my videos and doing all the pictures, we were showing, not to glorify us handing the hams out, but glorifying the fact that if we can do it, you can do it. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the cats that got thanked were they're giving it out, but there's a lot of people that you don't see behind the scenes that was coming into that dealership just handing a ham after a ham after a ham. So those are some of the people that are big stars to this right here.
Absolutely.
How many did you give out?
200.
Wow.
200 hams. Absolutely.
I knew we were right around that figure.
I saw the back of the vehicle. It was packed full.
It was packed full. Yeah. The statement I think Coach Marcus made was that we got enough ham sandwiches to feed people the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And me and Coach kept looking around going, man, if we just had some bread, some mayo, we would be eating right
some
now.
Honey Dijon.
That's right.
Yeah. But you're absolutely right, DJ Scotty. A lot of the folks that came over to the dealership and dropped off the hams did not want to take a photo. They did not want to be. He said, listen, I just want to bless. I don't want to take a photo. I don't want to make a big deal out of it. Yeah, that
was that one girl.
And we had several people to do that, and we really appreciate all of those. The next thing I want to talk about, I want to get this out this morning. I think that it's important that I say this, being one of the elected officials in this community. There's a lot going on in our community, a lot of great things that are going on in here in Conyers and Rockdale County. But let me just say that for all of us who are elected officials, and for anybody that's listening who is thinking about getting into the world or the arena of politics or public service in an elected office, one must know and understand that this is a hot kitchen. And inside of this kitchen, sometimes it goes from hot to hot as hell.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to be able to deal with it. You have to have thick skin to do this type of work. Those people that may love me at 8 a.m. may hate me at 8:30.
Welcome to the DJ world. I have the same problem.
And it comes with the territory.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care what level of government you're in. If you're a high-profile individual, it's part of it. You shouldn't be shocked or surprised
well,
or knocked off your feet.
It's the whole public eye thing.
It's the whole public eye thing.
It's like being a parent.
Yeah.
It's like being a parent because everything, they're not going to always agree with you.
That's
So
right.
I guess the point of me making this announcement or making this statement is that I accept that the good, the bad, and the ugly comes with this line of work.
That's right.
And I feel that the Lord has equipped me to be tough enough through and through to be able to deal with it all. And I've dealt with a good amount of all three of those things that I've just talked about, the good, the bad, and the ugly. One thing about serving people, you're not going to make everybody happy all the time. It's not going to happen. So I just wanted to point that out because I think sometimes folks who think about getting into this arena or this line of work, get into politics, they get a little twisted because, oh my God, they wrote a bad article in the paper. Oh my God, somebody said something negative. It's a part of it. So it is what it is. I think I love the freedom of speech. I think people have the right to say what they want to say about me, and I don't have to like it. I don't have to agree with it. People have the right to speak. But if I'm going to be in this role, I've got to be a big boy, and I've got to have thick enough skin to deal with it. Even some of the most cruel and brutal things that are said, you still have to be able to have thick enough skin to deal with it. So that's, I want to get that out.
Yep. My thing, I don't have thick enough skin. I let things, I guess because I have so much passion in what I do, I let things hurt my feelings because when we started feeding the homeless, there was a young lady that had a little bout with cancer. I'll word it that way. And I don't want to say her name or anything. So, but she needed some help. So me and my crew jump on this and help her for her cancer. We help her raise money. We did everything. So to me, if you're a person that just for fun has already helped save because of your cancer, then you should be maybe not respectful, might not be the word, understanding if we go out on another direction. Because what I'm getting at is when we started helping the homeless, this person that we helped got nasty on Facebook with me and said, there's no homeless in Rockdale, and started just bashing me. And I'm like, looking at my wife going, oh my God, the woman that we helped who needed help when nobody else there was the helper is now bashing me for helping somebody else that's helpless.
Wow. Scott, I want to remind you, we're all in the people business, and the people business is just like that. When I was a deputy sheriff down in Augusta serving 15 years, I can remember you get a call to a domestic dispute, and they've called, she's called the sheriff's department. She's called the police.
Right.
And the police shows up, and the police sees a reason to place him under arrest and take him to jail. While you escorting him to the car, guess what she's doing?
Don't take him.
Don't take him. And beating you across the head.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
When you're there to protect her to begin with.
Right. So the same people, it is, but my pastor said this to me back in 2008 when I ran for office the first time. He says, Nesbitt, this is going to be the most rewarding and the most challenging all at the same time. He says, you need to understand that. The same people who are going to love you at 8 a.m. are going to hate your guts at 8:30. And you just got to be thick skin enough to deal with it, but don't stop doing what you're doing for the people. Keep it moving. I wanted to get that out and say that.
No, dude, I'm with you. And I live it. Like some of my people have seen messages where I've had death threats. When I was feeding the homeless, I had people go, I know where you live. You got a bus in your yard. Well, duh, I got a bus in the yard. I can't hide.
Right.
But you wanted me when I was helping your family, save your house because you lost your job. And now you're sending me death threats because I'm helping some homeless. Wait a minute. If I wouldn't have helped you, you would have been one of them. Well, it's amazing. People have double standards.
It's amazing. As caring as the community really is, there still are some selfish people out there who it doesn't matter to them until it matters to them.
That's right.
Okay. The next thing I wanted to just make sure I mentioned this morning. So I get all these calls from parents all the time about needing a mentor for their young person, and usually it's for the boys. Okay. But girls need mentors as well. And a mentor for a girl can be a man or a woman. You just have to make sure it's the right person.
That's right.
And that's the parent's job to check out whoever this mentor you matching your child up with. You just can't think because he wears a suit and a shirt and a tie and all that stuff, or have a certain type of job, that there's the best person to put him with. I got that part out. Here's the part I really want to talk about. Young people need to have a clear sense of direction. Now, when they reach the age of 25, for those who are not in college or not in the armed forces and out here in the world of work looking for employment, they need to have a strategic plan. And this is the basic premise of what I call a strategic plan. Who, what, when, where, how, and why. That's the foundation of your plan. Who are you? Where are you going? Why are you going? What is it you want to do? How are you going to get there? Mapping out. And it doesn't need, I don't like it when a young person says, well, my mama said I ought to do this. My uncle said he thinks I should do this. And my cousin said, no. My question is, what do you want to do with your life? And if you tell me this is what you want to do, then my next question is, what are you doing to get there? What steps, what action steps? Because if you're just talking about it, and sharing it with this person, but you're not doing anything about it, you're spinning your wheels. And guess what's happening while you're spinning your wheels, young people? 25 turns to 35.
You're wasting time.
Thank you. 35 turns to 45. And mama, all right, mom, I'm knocking on your door this morning. You've got to raise these boys so they can transition into becoming men. Yep. Now, I had a wonderful relationship with my father growing up. Although my mother and father was not in the home throughout my entire childhood, my mom had a great relationship with my father and my stepfather. So my father they were all friends, and it was no drama. So I had a wonderful relationship with my father, although I was primarily raised by my mom, me and my two brothers. Got that out. You understand where I'm going here? And my mom was a hell of a woman. Okay. Yes, indeed. She taught me many, many things, but guess what? She wasn't a man. So, whereas I love her dearly, and she gave me so many tools for life that I'm applying every single day, she was not a man. I had to spend time around my father, the members of the church, men in the community, male teachers, male coaches. And, back in the day, it was tough love. So, you know how those coaches talked to us back in the day. Oh, yeah. They didn't say, it wasn't all nice.
Walk it off.
Put some dirt on it.
Get your butt up. And a few of them might even lay a few hands on you if they're trying to get you to do something. But the point I'm making, we've got to get into understanding that we have to push these children, these young people, and not enable them where they don't do for themselves. One analogy: you're pushing them in a wheelchair when really they can get up and walk, but you've pushed him so long that he doesn't even know that he can walk, because he's dependent on and counted on what you pushing him. But if you ever leave him sitting in the middle of the floor in that wheelchair, and there's something he's got to do for himself, at some point he'll sit there long enough until he makes a decision to get up and do it on his own. But because he knows, or because she knows, that you continue to be there and make a way, we're becoming an enabler. And you have to really think about that. You have to really think about that. Yeah, that's Coach. You have to really think about that. So y'all can pick it up. I'll let him in.
Sorry, I'm texting him now to tell him which door.
Actually, in a second too, I'm going to get a call that I'm going to have to take. Okay. So if I jump up and run out, no,
that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, we're just trying to make the day go by. Yeah. But he's absolutely right. I know back in the day.
I recognize him.
We made the
I
comment.
saw his video.
Yeah.
Which was a great video, by the way.
But we made the comment about how we grew up, and other calls, boy, it's all pouring in. Yeah. Yes, sir. Just for Fun Radio.
Hey, man.
Hi.
There's no way to park, dude.
Oh, what? You should have called my personal for that one. Let me work on this. I got to get back to the show. I'll get somebody out there for you in a second.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Wow.
Hey, there's nowhere to park.
It's filling up.
Wrong phone. Yeah, man, we didn't know we were going to have a full house today.
Yeah. Wow.
And last night, I was like thumbing it, trying to figure out how to get everybody
I saw
here
your
this
post.
morning. Yeah, man. And that's how it is. Would you
put on your parking attendant vest? Get your.
I don't know. It's like right in the middle of the show.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Coach is gonna move his car real quick.
Special.
Yeah, we have somebody that's here in a wheelchair, so they got to park the van to get in.
Well, I'm already on the grass.
Well, go up there and just kind of help
I'm
them.
in the driveway.
You know where
I
we can
didn't
park.
know we had other people.
Run, because if they're out there, they just got to stay to confusion.
I'm parked next to Oz.
But you know how some of the grass needs.
You're behind me, aren't you?
I'm next to you.
You're next to me,
yes.
so I can back out.
Yes, but I can move too if I need to.
Just let it go.
Well,
I got a show to run.
Just for Fun Radio just went into a parking lot. We just did some logistics right on the air.
Right.
But and you
We're gonna go to a break.
One thing about Just for Fun, it's all just for fun.
It is. It's all just
pandemonium in the parking lot.
Yeah,
So we were talking about young people and them getting the move
right.
on and putting a little fire behind their behind so they can start to do things and take ownership for themselves. I do a lot of talking. One of my speeches is called Hot Cup of Common Sense, a hot cup of common sense. And what I say to the young people, don't drink it, sip it, because you need to take every sip for what it's worth. Learn how to take ownership, be responsible. And I always say accountability is the highest level of responsibility. If they don't know these things, guess what we have to do is teach those things to them. A lot of us old schoolers always use the terminology common sense. My kids will probably jump out of the window if they hear that word common sense.
I don't think too many people have it now.
Well, here's the thing. You can't learn it. You have to inherit it.
That's right.
And you're only going to inherit it from people who you're around that have it. You can't inherit it unless you're around someone that has common. My mom, dad, grandmother, they didn't teach us common sense. We just, we picked it up. We sucked it up. We just inherited it from being around. So parents who are out there frustrated on a day-to-day basis, you're going to have to go back to some old school techniques. You're going to have to mix the old school with the millennium style and do a little bit of love. Now, I'm a tough love guy, and we've got a blended family, 2 boys and 2 girls, and I don't let up on anybody. I'm doing some things differently because I had to make a transition in my life because you want to have a wonderful relationship with your children.
Right.
But at the same time, I want them to be their best.
Right.
And you have to push them and coach them in order to do those things, and you can't soft them through life. Did you hear what I just said? You can't soft them through life.
That is 90% of it. I laughed yesterday at the bank, and this, just because I say there's no boundaries in colors, I got to tell it like this though. So I'm sitting at the bank, and on the opposite side of me is a very, very well-to-do black gentleman, completely dressed head to toe. I mean, he makes you look like you don't dress good. That's how good he dressed. And Oz dresses good.
Thank you for the compliment.
But now over at the teller window is another black gentleman who grew up where I grew up. So when I'm talking to my teller, and we were just making the joke about phones because I was showing them something on the phone. I said, it's amazing. We depend on these so much. Well, the next thing you know, the one from the teller, he turns around and he's got that old school mentality. And he says, man, we talk about this all the time. And in the conversation, the 3 of us are able to blend in all 3 of our backgrounds, where all 3 of us are from, and discuss how when we were kids, we acted this way. We knew what going outside and playing war meant. We knew what throwing rocks meant. We knew what camping was.
Playing marbles.
Exactly. Hopscotch. That's right.
Hopscotch.
Playing horse. How many years of playing horse did you do with the basketball? And these kids today don't know anything but a phone. Their life has become soft. And they don't understand what take the trash out means. Go cut the grass. They don't understand it.
Well, let me say this, because this is where I was going wrong. I was doing a lot of comparing to how we were raised and reared and grew up, and how our parents did what they did to get us to where we are now. But the truth of it is, a lot of those techniques will not work today.
In today's society, you're right.
Some of them will, because I'm telling you, I'm an old school boy now. Some of them will. I believe in WTA. You know what WTA means. I believe in that. I'm a big fan of it. I think it worked. It worked for me. However, in today's society, because of laws and regulations and all of the above, you have to go about it a different way. And I'm a big believer in communication in teaching. And let me give you the threes. I got 2 sets of threes I want to give you. Here it is. I hope somebody's listening and writing this down.
That's right.
This is for free, baby.
Good thing is it's recorded, so you can go back and watch it.
I'm going to give it to you right now. And those people who have followed me for years, they've heard of the 3 A's. I've always talked about the 3 A's: attitude, approach, and appearance. Attitude is the way you think about yourself and the world around you. Attitude can make or break a situation. It can open doors. It can close doors. Attitude, approach, and appearance. The second A, Stephanie, is approach. Your tone of voice, your body language, your facial expression. My mama, let me just tell you, she could say whatever she wanted to say without, guess what, ever opening up her mouth.
Oh, my.
Just the look on her face, baby, said a whole lot.
That's right.
I was clear. I was crystal clear as to what she was saying and what she meant. Just Scotty, just the look
man.
on her face.
My mother didn't have to flinch. She flinched. I
She
knew
didn't
what it
flinch.
was.
That second A is the word approach. How we present ourselves to other people. That's what it is. Tone of voice, body language, all that eye rolling, teeth sucking and stomping and going on. That didn't work back in the 60s and the 70s, but you got busted in the mouth real quickly, okay? And you weren't going to get a police coming. You weren't going to the hospital. You just had to suck it up and deal with it. But the other part of that second A word, approach, is I'd rather for you to approach me than to confront me.
And I was going to go after that.
I wanted to explain the difference. Approaching is positive. Write this down. Approaching is positive. Confronting is negative. When you confront me, you don't leave me but one way. I got to come up with you, back me up against the wall. Then I got a result to what I know. Yeah. And I hate to show you that. I don't want to go there. Okay. That's right. So it's better because when you approach me, that means you're looking for a desired outcome. Okay. Right. So I gave you attitude. I gave you approach. The third A is the word appearance. Yes, people, I don't care. I didn't say it's right. I don't agree with it all the time, but people do judge us based on what we look like. You just talked about clothing and how people look. Oh, yeah. People look at us, Stephanie. All of us, and they judge us how big we are, how short we are, how well we dress, how groomed we are. Your appearance speaks for you the moment you walk into a place.
And people want to say you're not supposed to be judged that way, but I try to tell people that whether you open your mouth or not, when you walk into that room,
that's right.
Human nature, they're going to start judging you from the eyes before you open your mouth.
Before you ever, absolutely nothing personal. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
So here's the thing. I do agree with the old classic cliche. When you look good, you feel good. And that is true. And I think people should almost always take pride in themselves when they're ripping and running and going and doing what they're doing. But it is important that you work those 3 A's: attitude, approach, and appearance. I just gave you a surface on what I really think about those. There's a lot deeper to go. We don't have a lot of time for that. The next set of threes I want to give you, and I'm going to get out of here shortly, the 3 E's. Watch this. We're talking about young people. We're talking about pushing them to get to a place and a point in their lives where they can take responsibility and ownership. The first E word is the word exposure. I think you got to stop judging a book by its cover. Just because the shack look like a shack in a hole in the wall, buddy, let me tell you, I've got some of the best food out of a place that look like a shack in a hole in the wall. Some of the best barbecue is coming out of a place. There's a place in Augusta, Georgia called Paris Pig. And if you go down the old Savannah Road in Augusta, Georgia, and you look over to the right and see Paris Pig, a lot of folks are like, I ain't gonna eat out of there. But let me just tell you, it is the best. Those two brothers in the back of there, they're doing it the real old school way with the pit in the ground, the hog laying on it.
And see, some things don't change.
And they put them skins on that sandwich. You can't even eat that sandwich holding it normal. You got to use a fork to eat it with.
Good Lord.
Yes, indeed. So the point I'm making, exposure. You have to be exposed to different people, different places, different cultures, different religions, different restaurants, different types of clothes, different types of music. You have to be exposed. And people, parents, expose your children. Get them out of the comfort zone. What is a comfort zone? I'm glad you asked. It's a false place of security. One more time. A comfort zone is a false place of security. You're there because you're familiar with it. You're there because it's nice to you. You're there because you know it. But in order for you to reach your full potential, you got to get out of that place. You got to get out of that comfort zone. The next E word is the word experience. Now, once you've been exposed, Stephanie, Coach, once you've been exposed, now you will have the experience. You went into the old shack that you thought was a hole in the wall, and now you've had the experience saying, this is some really good barbecue here at Perry's Pig. Absolutely. Now you've had the experience. From the experience, you get the final E word, the education. Watch it, all tied together. You've been exposed to the place. You went in there, had the great barbecue. You've had the experience of eating in there. Now you have the education that you can talk to other people going up and down the road and say, no. Don't judge a book by its cover. It looks like an old shack, but it has the best barbecue in town in here. You're educated about it, and now you can tell other people about it. Exposure, experience, education. The 3 A's: attitude, approach, and appearance. Parents, you have got to encourage these young people to get with the program. You've got to give them some ultimatums. You got to push them and you got to stop making it so easy for them.
That's the thing, is they're so busy making it easy and tender and sweet. Why they don't know the real world.
Why at 25 years old, you're paying for his cell phone?
Yeah.
Why? Why doesn't he have, why, if he's not in college, if he or she is not in college, if they're not in the military, then why aren't they working 2 jobs?
Yeah.
I work,
and
2
if they
jobs
want
all
a car,
my life, and
they need to work
working
for it.
2 jobs. So we make it too easy. Then you've not had a conversation with them at 25 years old. That, okay, now you still in that twin bed that you've been in since you was 12.
Yeah.
You've been in that race car bed, and you're 25 years old now. And I see the beer can sitting over there.
Yeah,
and
you're buying beer, and I'm paying your cell phone.
Right. You're living in my house.
Right.
I mean, what's your plan, buddy? How long do you? When are you? They don't have a plan. They've not.
And they got to go out on a date, but they can't bring them home because they live at mom and daddy's.
And one thing I don't want my daughters to have is a mama's boy.
Yeah.
And what I mean by a mama's boy, an unmotivated, undetermined young man. I'm not talking about a boy that was raised by his mama, because I was raised by my mama.
I'm a mama's boy, but I love my mama, and there's a difference. Now my mother is a sweet, darling lady, and I am a mama's boy, but it's not because I'm babied by my mama. It's because my mama is just my heart. You know,
but you had stronger mothers back then, though.
Yeah.
My
mother's
I understand
a whole different world.
But you're self-sufficient. You're independent. All of the above. You're doing what you need to do for yourself.
Right, but we're also talking about a fella now that's in his 30s, and the 20-somethings that nobody realizes from 20 to 30, there's that big of a difference, and there is, because these new fresh to the market 20-somethings, the 21, 22, 23s, they don't have what we used to. They don't know. They don't understand, and we got to teach them.
It's a mean, big world out here. Let me just tell you this, because my time is wrapping up. I'm not being hard on the kids. What I'm saying, tough love still works. And parents, you've got to go back to some of those old traditional values, and you got to mix them with some of this millennium stuff and make it work, make it do what it do. You've got to get these kids are using you, they're riding you, they're taking advantage of you, and simply because they know they can. Watch this method too, because this trick still works today. Kids will play and manipulate daddy against mama, daddy against a stepdad, and mom and stepmom. They'll play those games. Parents, you have to keep it in the road. You got to hold it in the road and make sure that you're in agreement and on one accord as parents.
Them values that people then threw out the window. We don't have enough time to reinstate values. We need more values.
Let's go back a couple of decades. You know.
Wait, let's go back to the Led Zeppelin, AC/DC. Never mind.
Yeah, we were doing that earlier. We were on the music.
Yeah, I missed the best conversation of the show. It kills me.
Well, listen, I don't want to apologize, but I do want to apologize, DJ Scott. I always appreciate you all having me here on the air. I had this in my mind and in my spirit this morning to talk about, and there's going to be more opportunity to talk about. We got a program coming up called the Man Event. It's going to take place April 11th. April 11th, the Man Event. And what is for young boys transitioning from boys to men. April 11th is going to be from 12 noon to 2 p.m. over at the Johnson Park Community Center right here in Rockdale County. Now, listen, I'm going to be one of the facilitators along with some other folks, and it's going to be candid. It's going to be raw. It's going to be uncensored. We're going to say what mama wanted to say, but she can't. We're going to say what daddy didn't say because he don't want to hurt your feelings. I'm going to let it all rip and hang out, and guess what? Your boy needs to hear it.
Are we going to wear boots?
You can wear
to bring them boots
or flip flops. It doesn't boots or flip flops. It don't matter. And I just might wear a pink shirt that day with all my madness and have on this pink shirt and tell it like it is.
But we may need them boots.
We may.
What's over with?
Might need the boots. Absolutely. And the last thing, I won't focus so much on the hanging and sagging pants as I will focusing on what's inside his or her brain.
That's right.
That's where I really want to put the focus.
But the one thing I don't
support it. I
That's
don't
right.
support it. I don't condone it. But I think the bigger
me,
message is let's get in your brain.
Look, if you're around me, I'm gonna say, son,
pick it up.
But the thing is
if you're gonna roll with me,
you can't have a successful job with your pants sagging.
If you don't see my drawers, I don't want to see your drawers.
You know,
can I just get that out this morning, Stephanie? If you don't see my drawers, I don't want you to see. I don't want to see your drawers.
I want to go on this, and this is what's funny is I stay in DeKalb County in a nicer area, Stone Mountain, with my family, and a lot of the houses towards that area
up there with the Jeffersons.
Moving on up.
Moved on up.
But I'm staying with them right now, waiting on my house to get ready to be moved into. But the area of the houses are anywhere from like 200,000 and up. It's close to Gwinnett and DeKalb line. And these kids go back to their parents' homes that are pretty nice, but they dress like thugs. And they got their pants around their ankles and all this stuff, and yet they go home to their parents' $200,000-$300,000 house.
they dress like wannabe thugs.
Yeah,
real
they
want to
be
dressed up.
And I'm thinking,
yeah, because that's what I joke about. The real thugs are the ones that are rolling, and they ain't dressing that way anymore.
I'm like, what do you know about being a gangster? I'm like, you go home to a $300,000 house, parents bought you a brand new car when you turned 16.
Dude, when I first made it down to Covington, let me tell you something. Back in 05, the first time I was in Covington area, 04. And one of them had walked up to me, seen a white guy, and he started talking about, I'm from the mean streets out here in Covington. And I'm like, dude, I grew up on Wesley Chapel in Glenwood.
Yeah.
You ain't seen nothing.
Yeah.
Wait, the mean streets in Covington. Come on down there to Columbia Drive in Glenwood then tell me.
Well, those that are pretending that they're from the hood ain't never seen a hood in their life.
The closest thing they saw was the hood of the car.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Just for Fun Radio. I got to get out of here.
Thank you, Oz. Thank you for being here. I was excited when I heard you were coming in today, buddy. I had to be here.
Yeah, and sorry we were on a limited amount of time. Let me call Craig back. I believe that was Craig's number, but we was on a limited amount of time. See you later.
All right. Thanks for coming in,
Have a good day, Mr. Oz. Here comes Craig.
That's 260.
I guess that's Craig, one of his numbers.
Unless one of the many.
He's got a couple.
Hey, it's Chops.
Hey.
Chops.
Hey, what's going on?
What's happening, man?
Craig.
Oh man, I like hearing what Oz has to say.
You hear that, Oz? Oz is trying to squeeze out the door, and he's like, I heard that. I know he's got to go. He's got a city council, not a city council, but the county meeting this morning. Go ahead.
I think one of the big problems today is that, and I just sent you a message in this regard, is that you have to be willing to have your kids not like you, and today's parents aren't willing to do that. They're trying too hard to be their friend and not their parent.
Exactly. That's you nailed it. I try to say that all the time. I'm supposed to be your daddy.
Yeah,
I ain't supposed to be your friend.
Exactly.
Your friend is the one that's going to be with you when you get in trouble. Your friend ain't going to be there to get you out of trouble. It's your mama, your daddy that you got to rely on to get you out of trouble. And that's the problem. Today's environment is, and a lot of it has to do too, and this is just my opinion, there are so many moms that are now 30, 35 that had their kid when they were 15. And the problem is when they were 15, yes, they had a child, but they were not an adult. And their mama and daddy babied them and then played grandparents and babied them.
Yeah.
So you now have a mom who's 15 raising a baby, then mom's 17 with a couple-year-old, and now grandmama's being mom to both. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Just for fun said it.
I just feel it. I feel it because the mama wasn't treated as an adult and was babied, then she's babying her baby.
Yeah, immaturity. It's just that we got too much immaturity. We got too many babies running around.
Right. I mean, you look at, the therapists or the counselors nowadays who work with at-risk or troubled teens. A big part of their discussion, why they're having a difficulty reaching them, is because their sense of entitlement that they've come up with.
Entitlement. You got it.
So, you've got teens that feel entitled to their lifestyles, no matter how self-destructive they are. Because parents have reared children with the attitude that, I don't want to interrupt their happiness even for a minute, or, no establishment of discipline or willpower, or there's nothing there. And you and I, Scott, have talked about how I raised mine.
Yes, sir.
I tell them straight out, and you can ask anybody around me, my kids are like, I don't want to say necessarily robots, but they know how they're supposed to act. And I get comments all the time, your kids are the best behaved kids. And, they've got an open leash.
because I tell them, you're born with free will and choice. Have at it. You know what's expected of you. You know what our values, beliefs, moral systems are. Just know that there's consequences. There's repercussions.
Oh, yeah.
You might decide that, hey, Dad told me this, but I don't really feel like doing that. Hey, that's absolutely awesome. But don't think for a second I might not take your little ass back here behind the garage.
Right. Yeah. Well, the bigger picture is my problem. And that's it's kind of the thing here lately. Military Mike has to hear, Joey needs to hear, Stephanie. They all have to hear me keep saying, even though I've been doing this for years, and each one of them has an opinion, and I do try to value their opinion, but all I can keep saying is, look at the bigger picture. Don't think about what right now, this situation right now, you let an emotion make a decision for you based on a right now problem, but tomorrow this problem might not be here, and you just made an irrational decision based on an emotion right now, and you just screwed up tomorrow or the next day or the next day. Because if I snapped right now and pulled a gun because I emotionally thought it was the right thing to do, I'm going to now spend tomorrow and very well the next 15 years in a prison because I made an emotional decision right now.
My father, he and I didn't see eye to eye. My father's a retired major from the Army, 3 tours of Vietnam. I mean, he was a stiff, hard, authoritative person. Me, I'm the rebel. I mean, I don't know if you could tell, but
not at all.
I knew that if I screwed up, the hammer of Thor was coming down on me.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and back in the day, it was a belt.
And see, my grandfather used the leather belt that they shaved the straight razor with. It was 3 inches wide, 4 inches wide.
Strap.
That's what he bought my dad and my uncle with, and it was always hanging on that gun rack so I could see it dangling.
Yeah. Or, back in the day, the switch.
Oh, well, look, my great-grandma, no joke. She'd say, boy, you can go out there and get me a switch. I would come back, and everybody knows how they take a fishing rod and just swing it through there and go and bend it. My grandma would bend it. This is my great-grandma. She'd bend it. She'd smack me with it and go, nah, that one ain't going to do. Go get me another one. And I would eventually get to the thickest one. And by then, I might have been hit 5 times. Yeah. Now, at that point, I'm like, I'm just going to go for the big one to begin with.
Rule of thumb.
Man.
Well, whatever you ignore.
We created this, and I mean, it wasn't overnight.
Yeah, we made these monsters.
I think strongly started with the Gen Y population, probably, where, all the way back to the nursery rhymes or whatever, because, in the 80s, we were looking at child rearing. They focus on self-esteem, unconditional love, and being valued just because you were you. And, constantly praising kids and not criticizing them by any means, and emphasizing feelings and not recognizing one child's achievements as superior to others. Look at it. It kind of began back, and you probably remember this. You didn't give out one trophy for a kid's sport teams. All the kids got a trophy.
Yeah, not this participation trophy.
Yeah. And you go back to that, and I think that's where it's at. I mean, my mom was quick. My mom was like the flip-flop crusader. She could kick that flip-flop off and smack you across the head with it, have it back on your foot before you realize what happened, and throw it around corners and everything else,
Wow.
But, I just wanted to call in and comment on that, because I think that's a big thing that we're going through right now, is the constant stream of praise has resulted in a runaway inflation of speech, and it's just crazy how we're in a sense of entitlement nowadays.
You're right with the sense of entitlement, because here's and this is not to create another subject, because I know if it's got off the phone I need to go to a commercial, but what I try to explain to people is when I was dealing with the whole God is dead at this school situation, I was trying to say, you need to take this stuff off the wall. And I had all these parents coming up going, well, you're trying to take away their freedom of speech. Yeah, but what you don't understand is you might be pissed and you might be voicing at me, but you got to remember my freedom of speech, where you find you have the freedom to say that I can't this, I have the freedom that says I can.
Yeah.
So that freedom goes both ways.
Yeah.
And people don't want to hear that. People want to hear what they are emotionally dealing with right then, and they don't want to see the bigger
Their
picture.
freedom is your freedom in their mind.
Well, I mean, everybody, you know, and you can be the nicest person in the world. I don't care what anybody says. There's a small degree of racism in everybody. There's a small degree of hypocrisy and bigotry in every single body. I just don't get it. As far as the death of God and stuff like that, my opinion is, in a nutshell, as long as there's still math tests in the elementary school, there'll still be prayer to God.
That's right. Well, you know, at this particular school, I used their own rules against them. And that's the thing about DJ Scotty. I can use your own words against you. I will use you against yourself because I have the microphone.
Exactly, with the microphone.
But here's what they did. They screwed up and said there is to be no religion in school. So then I had a limo pick me up and take me to Atlanta, and I spoke to the entire United States at 6 a.m. on Fox. Yep. And then again at CNN, and it went global at noon. And I said the words, if there's to be no religion in school, then there is no room for the devil. If you can't say God is alive, you can't very well say God is dead.
True.
You can't say heaven exists, and you shouldn't have anything on the wall that says, you know, no such thing as heaven, and there's only hell, there's no God, there's only Satan. So if you say there can't be God, then there can't be Satan either.
Yeah.
So if you're saying it can't be black and it can't be white, then it looks like we're painting everything gray.
Yeah.
So my last two comments, and it touches base real fast on what you guys were talking about earlier. Van Halen pretty much has the band.
Say again, Van Halen, what?
Pretty much as the band Mammoth. Prior to being Van Halen.
They were Mammoth. Yep. He knows it.
Badass. And Eddie Van Halen was actually a big innovator as far as not completely, of course, his style and technique. Taught a generation of people, but his craftsmanship in building guitars, because he was broke as hell.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And he had to come across and build his own stuff. But, you know, guitar players, man, you could go on and on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it all comes down to taste. What taste do you have?
Yeah.
You know, Lonnie Mack, Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
And I do respect Slash. I think he's probably one of the best there is, simply because him and Zach Wilde both, if you ever sit and listen to how they've both been trained classically.
Yeah.
What's ironic is, however, like guys like Leo Fender never even learned how to play a guitar. So
he built them well.
Yeah.
And I wasn't dogging Slash. I think Slash is amazing, but I know that 90% of the people, 90% don't like don't like Slash for the reason that we're discussing. They are fad likers. It's Guns N' Roses, man. That top hat, man. That hair, man. They can't tell you that he can play.
Well,
it's exposure, familiarity.
That's right.
What's familiar with you? Oh, this guy's badass. Because
MTV.
You know, why is he badass? Well, only because that's what you've been limited to expose to. Dimebag Darrell, Johnny Winter, Richie Blackmore from Deep Purple, Mark Knopfler from Dire Straits.
Well, most of the 80s, Slash was wasted when he played most of that stuff.
You go back to some of the early Metallica and listen to the beginning where it's all acoustical sounding right before they kick the volume up and start right down on it. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize acoustic and the classical stuff.
It's hard.
It's what brought us to where we are, and nobody knows it.
But that was the true foundation of
music.
I've
seen Metallica. I've seen Metallica in Europe. Matter of fact, when they come out and they were out supporting Twisted Sister.
There you go.
And that was some good old days. And talk about your best, or some of the best bass players there was. You know, there's
Cliff
Les
Burton.
Claypool and
Les Claypool
Cliff
from
Burton
Primus
and Geddy Lee and
Geddy Lee.
How about Carol Kay? Does anybody know that name?
No.
You
got me.
Google that name and Google it. She's probably one of the best bass guitarists in the world right now, in my opinion. I love Tuck Andrus. You cannot have a guitar discussion without naming Vince Gill.
Really?
Unknown people like Monty Montgomery, but probably the best is probably Ori, probably Panagaris, who was actually, I can't even pronounce her name. Orianthe Panagaris was a guitar player for Michael Jackson. Probably the best in the world right now.
Wow. See, that's the stuff you don't know about because everything
never got billed.
Everything was, I was just going to say, everything was staged to Michael Jackson.
You never heard about Michael Jackson's backup band.
Well, and that's like Steve Stevenson played with the Dirty Diana song, and nobody really ever talks about Steve Stevenson because he's always looked like such a joke.
Yeah.
He's always been Billy Idol's, Three Stooges kind of guy.
Steve Stevens.
That's Steve Stevens. You just never hear about that too. But he played Dirty Diana with Michael Jackson, and that's what made the whole song. It wasn't Michael Jackson. It was the combination of the two worlds brought together.
Yeah.
So, let me jet out and do a commercial.
This girl's out there doing her own thing, but she's just well advanced. And of course, you have to look at Eddie Van Halen's work with Michael Jackson too. But anyway, we'll have another discussion some other time.
Yes, sir. All right, thanks for calling in. We just went over a lot when we had odds ahead. We'll holler back.
Thanks, Craig.
All right, buddy.
All right, bye. Yeah, Craig is like the book of just for fun. He knows all, sees all. All right, everybody, give us just a few minutes and we'll be right back. I actually got 2 songs coming up to kind of make up for the fact that we didn't have enough commercials. We'll be right back.
Hell.
DJ Scotty, that's what you guys were talking before Oz came in. It's rock and roll. Why didn't they call me?
Yeah, you missed that.
I didn't even know you were coming in, man.
Yeah, I'm just a student.
We were talking about guitars.
Hey, are you doing Thursday with me?
Oh yes, man. Anytime, just come by. What's happening, young man? Coming in for the birthday, huh?
Yep.
Hey, look, where are we on camera? That's pretty good. You gotta wait your turn. We went over.
Break the chair.
Bad. Good. How are you?
I had to do my headphones. Van Halen there. DJ, that's Van Halen there, right?
Yeah. Oh man, crazy. We can't. Oh God, yeah. I ran out of sugar. No, it's fine. I found out the other day when my sugar's low in the mornings, I can eat one of them little zebra cakes, man. That's perfect. We usually have snacks. I've actually got sandwich stuff though, because we did a big retirement party last night. So I got sandwich stuff out in the fridge. Oh man, I got a spot. Of course, I'm making a big mess.
Yeah.
Leave it to me. We kind of open. We go back and forth. We started on music. It sounds like all of us are still on it. But we jokingly call it ADD radio because we jump so much. But we like having an open topic.
I like ADD because I think I need to get diagnosed with that. They didn't have that when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was just considered a hyper, and they want to give you pills.
Right. My mother took all the sugar out of my diet.
Yeah, mine too.
That was my help.
I made up for it, though, as soon as I got older. Talking that mic, Corey.
Hello.
Oh, good. Yeah, you're good. So we were tight on parking out there, huh?
Yep.
I didn't even think about it when everybody started texting coming in. I was like, holy cow. I went from one yesterday. I was like, Corey will be here. And then Joey texted last night, I'll be there. And then it didn't click. Oz was going to come. I was like, man, we're going to have a full house.
Yeah.
I need to hurry up and get some gravel down where the bus is.
I was like, there's no place for it, man.
Oh, yeah. Eventually, if I ever made some money, I'll get me a building somewhere. But it's nice to be able to just come downstairs and be on it.
Right. It's much easier.
Oh, yeah. Because I have people at all hours, wanting song requests and shout outs.
Yeah.
That's right, military Mike. Cracker. He said, ain't that a biatch? I'm not there and there's cupcakes. I'm going to let a second as 311 play just so everybody can kind of hear it. And it's funny, the song's talking about trust your instincts, and you got that's that common sense factor.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna let it just do the first chorus, and then we'll go live. Well, they can go to let me go.
The link to what? Maybe I can.
Video.
Oh, I'm in Messenger. That's why. Yeah, I'll send it to you through Messenger just so people can see it.
All right.
You're not allowed.
Do it.
You're supposed to be diabetic.
I am diabetic. It's yeah,
What's your name?
exactly.
Corey.
They're small, but it's
So that makes sense. All right, let's go back.
So you played 311.
All right, we're going back. And I wanted to share that for a second because if you think about it, he's saying trust your instincts. That kind of goes back to some of that, common sense factor that some people just don't have common sense anymore. You got to have that common sense.
With maturity comes that.
Yes.
Maturity comes common sense. And then when you have multiple exposure, as Commissioner was saying earlier.
Yeah, I know that guy.
Who's that guy?
That guy, Coach. So why they call you Coach?
Well, I do digital media consulting, and then I coach the kids. I did that for about 25 years till I ran out of money, and then I went to do something else.
Oh, cool.
But I started out coaching kids that were locked up in juvenile hall, mandated by court to go to sort of like after care sentencing,
Yeah.
boot camps, stuff like that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think the duct tape on that was not holding. Somebody spun it the wrong way. The other Steph, you're partially to blame. Turn the knob.
You need to get some gaff tape, brother.
Well, no, but you see what it is. They try to twist the end of the mic instead of unloosening the arm and actually tighten the arm back down. And that's, you know what I'm trying to say.
I got you.
I'm trying not to be aggravated because it's like, come on, y'all.
Yeah, no, but I started in the streets, kind of took after my parents. My parents still work with kids today. They're retired, well-to-do and all that, but they still work with inner-city kids. So that's kind of like how I started, trying to reduce recidivism before they get to the big boys club.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which back in those days, they didn't celebrate going there, but now that's a badge of honor.
They think it means something.
Yeah.
And you know what I find, just by telling my story a little bit, I get a rush out of doing what I do this way.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, mom worked all the time. So I was staying with my grandma, which my grandmother was in a wheelchair. I had tons of freedom. And what do you think I did? I rode my bicycle and then started getting in trouble because I was following the other kids thinking it was the right thing to do. Then I ended up getting some DJ gear and I got a rush out of it. But then I didn't feel it like I feel it now. So I kept trying to chase that adrenaline rush and getting in more trouble. And I always had that gut feeling that said, it's time to go home. And that kept me from ever getting locked up. Now, here we are, advanced 20 years of living crazy, and not dangerously crazy, but just always having fun, chasing that adrenaline. And then I find, going back to DJ, I'm like, man, I get the same rush out of this that I did running 100 on the motorcycle. I get the same rush out of this like I did rappelling off of buildings.
This is our drug, man. You and I have talked about this a bunch. This is our drug.
It's part of your purpose, and you do it well.
That's right.
And I think that's what parents are missing. When you have immature parents that are not watching their children to find out what can they offer the world and foster that,
right?
Then that's part of the problem. You've got to watch your child. Just because you're the parent doesn't mean that the child can't teach you something, but you have to foster that in the child. So that was very well said. The adrenaline rush.
That's it. Is I was chasing it, and everybody does. Everybody has got their own. And I don't want to say drug in the word.
Well, it's a drug.
Dope, but drug. It's something that you're chasing. Your crutch, if you will. You know, like when y'all are doing this thing, the Boys to Men thing on the 11th. You know, I got a big party to do that night, but I wouldn't mind being there because I keep trying to tell people, if this is what you wanted to do, you should jump on the opportunity and don't wait 20 years.
You and I talked about this a lot. If you and I could have done this when we were 18, 19,
I would have jumped on this.
If we would have had, I mean, like, because when I was a teenager, I knew I wanted to do this. Had I done this when I was a kid, there's no telling where I'd be now.
Well, the internet makes dreams possible that were forbidden.
Yeah.
I'm 51, so I mean,
you were good for 51.
Yeah, they were forbidden back in the day.
That's right. We couldn't have done this back in the day. See, I'm dyslexic, and that's why I couldn't.
I played like I was on the radio because my father plays the same station. I grew up on one station. I had to sneak and listen to AC/DC and Van Halen and all that other stuff. I hope my dad is not listening. But anyway, I still could get in trouble. But I grew up on one radio station. It was a Christian radio station that my father refused to change.
Yeah.
So that my broadcasting desire is because I was exposed to a broadcasting repertoire that never changed.
Yeah.
And so all the stuff that I know is from my father exposing it to me from the radio.
Yeah.
You know?
And you know, back in the day, I mean, if you look at how many, back in the day, I had a cassette player lean against the speaker recording the Casey Kasem show. You know, the countdown.
Those are the days.
This is Casey Kasem.
You know, if I would have known, if I'd have known then that I could have done this, I wouldn't have been out looking for stupid stuff to find to get my rush on.
But
you know,
I hate to say this, mistakes are still good.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't have learned.
I wouldn't know.
That's how we grow.
I am the man I am today because of all the stupid stuff I did.
That's right. Let me call this number.
It was
back.
fun though.
They had called, and I'm trying not to interrupt a lot of talk for phone calls, but at the same time, I'll get back to them.
Man, do you,
man? Interactive radio.
Yeah, and that's the point that makes the live.
Oh, I love live radio. I hated my pre-recorded show.
Good morning. Thanks for calling Air Exterminators. This is Carol. How may I help you?
Yes, somebody just called this number.
Okay, and what is your name?
This is actually a radio show, so that's what made it really funny that somebody called this number.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second, okay?
Okay.
You and
you're live on the air.
Well, it wouldn't be my exterminator because he wouldn't have this number.
Well, you fixing to get somebody in trouble. Somebody called. When
I have no idea. It's too late now. We are live.
Hello?
Yeah, this is Hank Barbie, Corey's dad. I was calling to wish him a happy birthday.
Oh.
What's up, Daddy?
We thought we were getting somebody in
What's
trouble.
up, bro? You're live. You're live right now, dude. On the air.
Yeah, and Corey came in today to celebrate his birthday, y'all.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So, Corey, you got your dad on the phone. Is there anything you need to ask for live? A new car? New iPad?
I got a new chair.
You got a new chair?
By the way, yeah.
That's what you're in now?
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
But now what can you sucker him for? You got him live. Take advantage of this.
On the air.
Yeah, this a new
He's going down a big list right now.
A Rolex?
He's probably thinking of what he can get away with. Yeah, he's thinking, what can I get away with asking for?
a new I need I got a manual shaver, so I need a shaver. So
A manual shaver?
yeah, I use it in the shower.
Oh yeah, I bought one a couple months back, dude. I love it.
I love it too.
What kind?
See, I'm thinking 70-inch flat screen, man.
yeah.
I mean, if I'm going for the jug, if I'm going for the jugular, I'm taking you
go
out.
big or go home. You know,
3D TV.
Watch it now.
3D TV.
3D TV.
He said, "I 3D TV."
He wants 3D TV. See, we're teaching him well.
Here at Just for Fun Radio, we make dreams come true. Okay, that's what we do.
All we're doing is making the phone call happen. We are not making him get a 3D TV. I don't know if your budget can afford it because mine can't either.
And we have from Germany, Corey. We have a happy birthday, Corey.
From Germany.
All the way from Germany.
Well, thank you.
So that's awesome. And how old are you today?
25.
35. 25.
What's that? 35?
I was 25 when my daughter was born, and that was 19 years ago. Holy cow!
Well, it
You
says
were
Just
that
for Fun
old?
Radio.
Yeah.
So we gotta sing it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh,
He'll get a birthday for it. It's over with.
Oh yeah.
Remember the Walkman days?
Yes, I remember the
Yeah,
Walkman,
that was something. I had a yellow one.
and I
You had the
remember when
yellow one?
I remember when the Discman came out, and every time I would try to move, it would
It
skip.
would
Yeah,
skip.
yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, how can this be called a Walkman
Yeah.
if I can't walk?
Yeah.
And then you had the pouches that they went in.
That's right.
Yes.
Now,
Yeah.
Corey's dad, where are you? Aren't you? You're South Georgia, aren't you? Or are you local?
He's in Dublin.
I am.
Dublin,
I'm
okay.
in Dublin, Georgia.
I think the last time Corey was here, we had called you one time, and I think that was the case.
I think so. I think that might have been last year for his birthday.
Yeah,
Yep.
probably.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, thanks for calling in and
I
wishing
just
him a
wanted
happy
to throw
birthday.
a shout out. Happy
Yes, sir.
birthday to my big boy.
He's
Thank you, guys.
smiling.
I appreciate
He's
all y'all
glowing
do.
over
He
here.
loves you guys.
All right. Well, thank you very much for calling in.
Well, thank you, Dad.
All right.
Take
Thank you,
care.
sir.
See you later.
Happy birthday, boy.
Thank you.
3D TV is on the way.
Yeah, 3D TV is getting shipped from Tiger Direct as we are speaking.
But you were talking about the Walkman CD players. Remember the adapters that you hooked into them if you had a tape deck in your car?
Yeah.
So you could play the CD in the car.
I saw one of those the other day.
I still have
Like-
one in
like-
my van.
I had a Ford Explorer that I sold to the Sidekick, and then it melted. Yesterday was like the year picture of where it had caught on fire. But
Oh, really?
the bad thing is sitting in like the little hidden
Wow.
cubby hole was my Guns N' Roses GNR Live cassette tape.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's like, why didn't I get that out of that car, man?
Yeah, you should have saved it.
You know?
I don't think I have any
Yeah.
cassettes left.
Oh, I have a whole
I have a whole
box
case.
of
I
them.
have cases though.
Steph even has a VCR. She tried to set it last night.
Yeah, I really do have a VCR, but I really didn't try to set it last night. But I really do still have a VCR.
She's still trying to
I still
master
have
the
VH
setting.
tapes. I mean, it's okay.
Yeah,
Really?
I got some too. I need to get changed. I got
All
some
movies.
some home movies. I got to get changed over
Yeah.
to disc.
Well, I actually bought a.
Speaking of birthday, my phone's ringing. Right
I
now.
hear it.
So,
Who that is?
my aunt
Listen to that. Who that is?
My aunt baby.
I actually have
My
a
aunt.
CD or a DVD / VCR that
Slash
you can-
record player.
No, that you,
Slash beer opener. Slash pony keg.
no, you can record the VCR tapes to a DVD
Oh,
or a
cool.
DVD.
I need to do that. You
a
just need to bring
VCR.
that over one day. and let me
Who
borrow
would
it.
record DVD to a VCR tape?
I actually
Stephanie.
Vintage people, vintage.
Yeah,
collectors.
vintage.
You know, they're saying that. Listen, they're saying that the record player is coming back because people are wanting to hear the.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, no,
Critical-
there's a
Yeah.
sound that you
Analog.
get from vinyl.
Right.
It's like a warm
And
sound.
I got you. I got you.
Analog.
But here's what I'm thinking. I think that Stephanie's redneck house
You ain't got
needs
no
the visual stimulation of the lines from an old VCR tape running by.
Yeah, yeah.
sense. We don't
I
have a
need that
vintage-
Fast
authentic.
forward, like the actual fast
That would be
forward
a
where you.
good- that would be a good segment of vintage day.
Yeah.
Call in and talk about what they got from
Right.
back in
Well,
the day that's still working.
I actually
Ooh.
need to find
Antique Roadshow.
somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, I need to find somewhere where I can get an 8-track put onto a CD.
An 8
The
track.
only problem is you can't.
Eight-track tape.
An actual
Rewind or
8-track
fast
cassette
forward.
style tape. Okay. I just want to
Yes.
make sure because some people have videotapes that are called Video 8. So I was
Yeah.
making
Okay, yeah,
sure
no,
that
no,
you know,
eight-track.
you know
I'm
what's
making
crazy
sure where her brain is.
with us
Got it.
moving. Marianne has a box of 8-tracks and records that her brother she got from her brother and her aunt and her and she's actually got the old disc records, the big fat ones. I forgot what you call them, the Edison discs. She's got some of
Oh,
those.
wow.
And she has like a box of records from her brother, like old collectible ones, like old Motley Crue, Journey.
Wow.
I mean, some real good ones in there, man. And I'm like, man, these are awesome. We're holding on to these.
Yeah, I've got Elvis and
I got some Elvis
Lionel
ones.
Richie dancing on the ceiling.
Yeah,
I
remember that one.
Flash Gordon soundtrack. I still got all my
Flash.
album. I still got.
Savior of the universe.
I got all that stuff, man. My mom even has the Saturday Night Fever 8-track.
Oh yeah, with the
wow.
Yeah, and got him on the cover in white.
Yep.
That's the days.
That's hard to find now, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I've got all the monkeys.
Oh gosh.
I've got
That is so
Pointer
sad.
Sisters Jump.
Yep. I got that. I got the soundtrack.
No.
Oh, I was going to say, you vintage.
Yeah.
But listen, this is birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, listen to that now.
Happy
that's better than we
birthday
could do.
to you. Happy birthday
Corey.
to Corey. Happy birthday to you.
Thank
And see, that's a whole lot better than we were going to do.
I know. You don't want to hear me do that.
I got to go.
Happy birthday to you.
Keep your clothes on. Keep your clothes on.
I do the Barry White.
He's lucky he's here because usually we do the phone pranks.
Yeah.
Somebody reached out wanting me to do a phone prank for their daughter that turned 18. And I'm not going to name who he is, Mr. Chris Ravens Renovation. But he's like, man, can you do a prank on my daughter? And I said, yeah. Now, this is the day before the show. Send me a number. Okay. Never hear nothing from him.
Oh, goodness.
Like, we spent 10 minutes figuring out how to prank his daughter, and he never sent me the number.
Let me tell you right now, you ain't gonna get me.
I bet we got you in here right now.
You ain't gonna get me right now.
That's a dare.
I bet you I can make you dance.
It works on Stephanie. Watch.
You ain't made it out the door yet. We might get you before you get out of here.
Because that's the deal. You either got to get the paddle or the taser on your birthday
And the battery.
if you're here in the
I've gotten the
battery's
paddle.
not doing so good, so it probably wouldn't hit you very good. Here, Joey, let's see. Here, hold on to that mic.
You notice I like to hold the mic. That's a good way to get me.
It has the aroma of
I know.
Stephanie's skin still cooking on it.
Is there still a burn mark on your?
It smells
your
like
hip?
pork rinds.
Oh, no. The last time he got me was on my arm.
Oh, and Chris with Ravens just said, oops. That means I just refreshed his memory that he had wanted me to do that, but didn't send me any numbers.
Last time I was here, you got yourself. I want that. Homie.
Oh, yeah. Look, I tried to get Steph the other day, and I thought Steph was just leaning over. I didn't know she leaned in. So I go like that to pop under the table, and I hit her on her arm.
Yeah.
Wow. I won't come in here on my birthday.
Oh, no, it wasn't my
No, that wasn't her birthday.
Oh, my
I was
goodness.
just in a giving kind of mood.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, knocked my headphones off my head from when I jumped. And yeah, it was.
Steph just takes it. She doesn't know any better. Boy, that
She's
sounded
a great
horrible.
co-host, though.
Yeah, that did sound
That
horrible.
did sound bad. This is the morning show, dude. Come on.
Oh
now, if
my
it were the
God.
night show, it'd be different.
So, what do you got going on for the rest of the day? Tell us what you do. What is it that you do
Well,
for a living?
I do digital media. I got a black car service. You know, I partner with Uber, Lyft, and I have my own clientele for that. And
that's pretty cool by itself.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's okay. I mean, you know, Atlanta loves Uber, but what the drivers is just completely unsatisfied.
I hate that word Uber.
Well, you know, I just saw the thing about some guy that was using Uber. It was a guy that drove here out of Conyers and took a guy either to Norcross or Atlanta, I can't really remember. And the guy wouldn't get out of the car.
Oh,
and
that.
Then he starts cussing and getting racial stuff and just cussing. And it's like, but you're saying your service was so horrible, but you won't get out of the car.
Right.
You were horrible, but this car is great.
I mean, that happens.
You know,
Uber, that's what for.
It's nothing like what you're used to. It's a real thing, Steph.
I'm gonna call me one of them Uber cars.
Yeah,
man.
Is it for people that have had too much to drink at the bars, or?
I mean, what the way it works is that
cab.
you can do Uber like 24/7. But if you work the bar district, I call that working the bar district late at night. I have done the bar district. You make a little bit more money. They're messing with the pay so much that the drivers just are trying to find other ways to just make up for that. I mean, because you know they're passengers love it, but
right.
I mean, you got to treat your drivers with respect. But I mean, when I'm not doing that, I just do that on the side, digital media and working with the kids. And then I'm a vocalist, as you probably can tell.
Yes. I guess.
On the weekends, I make a little money doing that, and learning to have more fun. I mean, I got the work ethic down. I don't have the fun ethic down.
That's right.
That's why I'm here, just for fun radio.
Let me tell you, I've learned, and I tell my mother every day when my mother questions, and my mother is not questioning it, but my mother will be like, "Well, what's going on? What's going on?" And I'm going, "Just hustling, Mom." Because it is. It's a hustle. And I don't mean hustling like I'm stealing money kind of thing. It's hustling meaning I'm out there hustling every day, doing what I got to do.
Living the dream.
Because I am truly living a dream. And people don't realize how cool it is.
So
and it's like you with your video stuff and all your digital stuff. You are pursuing something that you totally are interested in and you love it. You feel it. And that's why I try to push people. That's why I was saying if I could even tell kids, look, you do stand a chance. But you gotta put your 100% into it. You don't just put 50% into it.
Yeah.
I eat, drink, sleep this.
Yeah, but the good thing about the kids today, what they don't know is that today you can be almost anything you put your mind to.
Anything.
We were telling our parents, my mom's a music teacher. We were telling my mom's a music teacher, I want to be a musician. I want to be an artist. You're crazy. You're going to college.
Yeah.
And she's a music teacher.
Right.
So today you can be anything, but unfortunately, as you guys were talking about earlier, the sense of entitlement, which comes from immaturity, which comes from not having to pay along the way, everyone else paying for you. I mean, that sense of entitlement now. And what's really funny is that they still get big breaks. These immature folks get big breaks.
Still get
Oh, yeah.
That's how fertile the ground is for success, but unfortunately success is not only having it but keeping it.
Right.
And so if you're not mature,
because how many people have you seen they're at this point and then they just lose it. And that's what put it this way, and I love telling this story. It's the hip hop song Riding Dirty.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Old school hip hop song.
So that guy won like 8 Grammys off of this song.
Yeah.
His father, he has all this money, so he buys his dad a house, buys his dad cars. Well, you got to separate the two, because now dad's over here with all these possessions and you're still off doing your hip hop stuff. The catch is this: the hip hop guy goes and blows all his money. So it's not that I'm not saying he's poor, but he's definitely not rich because he's blown all his money. So he's still having to do like me. He's hustling every day to make his money. Now, dad, on the other hand, dad has all the possessions, but dad had to go get a job. So dad drives a FedEx truck for one of my cousins who has a company with a bunch of big 18-wheeler FedEx trucks. And the guy just so happens to my little cousin wants me to play that song for him all the time. He just so happens to hear Jerry Lee listening to this song. He's standing there with the owners of the company. He says, my son did that song. And that's how this conversation came up. So to keep the house, to keep all the cars, he physically owns them he owns them as a property, but in order to keep up the insurance, the taxes, everything, he has to hustle every day. The father, mind you, to keep all these possessions, while the son is nickel and dime hustling because he don't want to lose what he's got. And it all comes down to, you can't expect it. You might get it, but whatever you did to get it, you got to keep doing it to keep it. And that's the part I get confused with people. Like, dude, you get this great job and then you start slacking off. Why? You got the opportunity of a lifetime.
I love what I do. I'm a DJ.
Yeah, he's got into DJing.
Yeah.
He's been DJing weddings and parties.
That's good.
Yeah.
And this when I came to radio, that's why I am who I am. I'm a DJ and I love music.
And that's where it has to be. You have to feel it. You have to love it. That's why we joke about Twilight. Twilight wants to get in this business, and we're like, dude, be 100%. I mean, if you really want to learn it, be 100%.
Scan in the game.
Do it
That's
now.
right.
Do it now.
Don't wait. Don't wait. Because if I would, classic, if I would have known.
Let me tell you how embarrassing it is to be an intern at 30-something years old.
Well, yeah, you were at Project 961 along with that other dude. And how funny is it is I didn't know Joey at the time, and there was another guy. I was DJing at bars in McDonough, so I meet up with this guy Anthony. It went by DJ Twan. Me and him started kind of hanging out a little bit. He wanted to be more of a club DJ, and I want to be more of the performer, artist, entertainer. I like doing this. I like doing big events. I don't mean to be rude, but just about anybody can push play and play music. If you're not going to really be the club DJ, and I mean be 100% club DJ, then you better be able to do what I do. So me and him became friends and start going to all these seminars and stuff. And the next thing I know, he goes to work at Project 961 and ends up working with Joey over here for several years. And they both worked their tail off for nickels and dimes.
He stuck around. He put up with it for a long time.
Right.
And they were working the crap out of him. And I mean, he stuck it out and he put up with it. And, you know, I had that attitude thing where it's like, look, this ain't taking me nowhere.
Right.
I mean, I can't sit there and kiss the butt for that long.
I was going to ask you that. How do you explain that to people who want to get into business? There's two sides, almost three, but there's two main sides. There's the side where you have, let's say, the training, or you have the connection and you work in the corporate side and you're getting a great paycheck, but it sucks. There's no passion. There's no creativity.
Yeah, you hate what you do, but you're getting paid.
Right.
It's like,
but you're on the other side. It's like us. We love it. We're creative.
Right.
We're impactful. We're changing lives one at a time or whatever. But the pay sucks, and
we're broke.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I'm content.
Yeah.
You know, people make cracks to me, and I'm like, you know what? I get by.
Yeah.
And let's go back to the song. I get by with a little help from my friends.
Yeah.
I enjoy what I do, so it makes what I do so much better when I get paid. But I love what I do. I mean, we didn't make nothing Sunday, but we were giving out hams.
Yeah.
Those smiles were not. I mean, smiles don't pay my bills, but it's because I do what I do and I love what I do that it enables me to meet people to get more gigs to make more money.
The rest of your day Sunday probably had to be awesome. You rode home with a big smile on your face.
Oh, dude,
you probably came home
in heaven. Hell, I did 3 videos that day, dude.
Yeah.
I was like out there.
And you wore a shirt with a collar.
Yeah, I wore a shirt with a collar.
But going back to what you said, okay, I wanted to be a DJ. We all wanted to be DJs. They give you a job and promotions. Right.
Tell how long it took you before you ever got to a microphone.
Oh, dude, it was months. I sat in a control room answering phones and letting people in the security door and getting coffee and stuff like that.
Get me.
Yeah. Before I could go into that studio and even talk on a microphone for seconds before I had to get out of the studio, they would give you a job and promotions, paying you $8 an hour. And then work you, it would be
to go stand at Arby's or whatever to say, come by and see the
pay you as a part-time employee, but when things were busy, want you to work more hours than part-time, but only give you that 32-hour check. Want you to be dedicated.
Yeah.
There's only so much that you could put up with. Yeah. Now, if you could become the corporate machine and put up with that, that's great. Me, I can't. Yeah. I cannot do that.
So you got to know that when you get into this business, that's my point. You got to know which side you're on. And as you just what he said, you got to know what you can stand.
That's right. Yeah. And see, we were giving Twilight a chance because I was like Joey said. Joey said, man, I worked my butt off before I ever got to be on a microphone, before anybody even taught me anything. Yeah. And that's where we were giving the Twilight a chance. We're like, come in here, sit down, we'll teach you how to do this. If this is something you want to do, you go to school for it. Yeah. But the catch is, Joey was trying to explain, what does it cost for how many weeks of school for broadcasting?
When I went to CSB, it was like $15,000 for 4 months.
4 months for $15,000.
4 days a week.
Talking about Connecticut.
Yeah. You go 4 days a week. Monday through Thursday, you're there from like 9 a.m. to like a little bit after 1. You get all the studio time you want. The studio's available to practice and make tapes and do whatever. But yeah, 4 months, 15 grand finance.
But that's a big chunk.
I'm still paying
I spent
for
50 grand.
You know?
I spent 50 grand of my own money, and I didn't know about Connecticut.
Yeah.
I've been a broadcaster sort of all my life in some shape or form because I'm a vocalist. So I've had to do stuff on tracks or whatever. But I spent my own money to learn. But if I'd have known about Connecticut, hell, I would have saved. Well, and
this is what I tell people. You know? People go get a 4-year degree to be in communications. You never touch a radio board.
Right.
You never get to do anything. You take classes like philosophy to get a broadcasting degree. Yeah. I don't get it.
Right.
You know, and they're like, well, I got a broadcasting degree from Georgetown University. And I'm like, did you ever touch a radio board? Yeah. No. Well, then what good is it? You go to CSB, and I'm a big advocate for the school because they teach you everything you need to know. Next Gen, which is the computer system that runs all Clear Channel stations. Yeah. They teach you Next Gen. Cumulus has a system that's a lot like it, but it's not called Next Gen. Next Gen's exclusive to Clear Channel. Avid, you do videos. Avid is a big video. It's made by Mac, I believe. A lot of TV stations use it. Final Cut, which is a Mac system video.
But all of those things are available to these kids. Going back to that for a quick minute, all of this is so available. But unfortunately, and the kids are interested. Make no mistake about it.
Did you know are you in Conyers? Do you live in Conyers?
No, I go to church here in Conyers, but I'm in Snellville.
Well, and he lives in Snellville. I moved out of Snellville. Well, what we have here when we have the Career Academy, they actually have a class that teaches you the camera. It teaches you everything that we are. And that's what we try to tell these kids, like, dude, when we were in school, we didn't have that.
Right.
No.
You have an opportunity, if you quit being a jackass, you have an opportunity in Rockdale at the Career Academy.
No, there's a guy.
You just quit being a jackass.
They offer it over there.
There's a guy I know, Tom White is his name. He used to be a higher up at Project. He does something out here in Rockdale. I don't know if it's
that's probably the same Tom that we met at the car show last year that teaches in that school.
Probably is.
He's he's kind of my size with a beard. Yes,
big guy.
Yeah.
He does a car show.
He used to.
Well, we did a car show, and he was kind of our point of contact for us setting up and doing what we had to do. And his name was Tom.
I met a guy that was over a car show.
Yeah. Yeah,
but they're teaching these kids, and that's what we're trying to say is instead of going out and finding stupid stuff to get in trouble with, if this is the type of stuff that you want to be involved with, you should jump on it.
But the reason why they're getting in trouble, Scotty, you already know this. I'm just being redundant. The reason why they're getting in trouble is because there's no leadership. And in order for the kids to get off and get into the right path, someone's got to lead them. Someone's got to take a risk and realize that, hey, I may not be liked, I may not be, the favorite, I may not be popular. But I've got to give this kid some guidance, this young adult some guidance, because it's just the right thing to do.
And that's what I try to tell people, because I'm like, look, I'm dyslexic. High school, middle school. We didn't have middle back then, but we had a elementary, then high. But my thing is I started giving up in the 3rd grade because I felt embarrassed to be trying to do the spelling bee in front of people. And then when you get to high school, you've already developed it's easier to be the slacker and have fun and laugh at everybody than it is to put in the effort. And then through high school, it really was bad because being dyslexic and you got to start doing more and more. So I knew my world of radio to do what he attempted to do. By going through all that, I knew it wasn't going to happen. But now technology has allowed me to do what I do.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, look, if I can do this, anybody can try
it. Another thing too, and this is something I wanted to talk to you about. You were bringing up the people copying you.
Oh my God! I should take it as
check this out.
I should take it as awesome that they try to be me.
I thought about after the fact, the standards that people have of radio are because the only radio that we've had for years is terrestrial radio.
Yes.
With antennas, 97.1, all the different things. You set your radio to a number. You listen to a block of commercials. You listen to a format. You listen to this. You listen to that. That is all we've had for years.
Until me.
Well, or us, or people like us.
Well, what I'm saying is Project 961, while he was still working with Project 961, they copied me. They copied me on several things I did. And that's before he left them. And he had nothing to do with it. And now, here we are now, just a week ago, the Bull, I'm not going to give their numbers out, but the Bull copied me almost word for word, my way. I did the skit, everything.
You said that because I was doing a sports show. I had 2 young ladies doing a sports show. It was videotaped. We didn't run the audio on the radio, but we did the videotape, like a Vimeo or something like that. And I looked up on a #1 network, and the name that I was using was being used.
How funny is that?
Yeah.
Which is rapid fire or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I looked up, I said, you got to be kidding.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is possible. But that's a good thing for you, Chris, because that means you're mentoring people that don't want to submit to, but they want the good.
That's what I laugh. They want to be me, but they want to hate me.
The thing is everybody wants to be a critic of what people like us do.
Right.
Because the standard is what we've had for years, terrestrial radio.
But people are tired of it. They're tired of it.
But they want to critique what we do because everybody wants to base the the standard.
But then I turn around and get called cocky because I say, oh, y'all are trying to be like me. And I should find it as an honor that you're trying to be like me. But I actually am a little peeved because I'm like, really, you want to down me and you want to say that I'm this and I'm that, but yet you're trying to be me. You're trying to copy me.
But the thing is they want to say
I'm cocky for saying
but they also and they also want to say that we're trying to copy them.
No.
And we're not. we are totally against what they stand
We
for.
are their antichrist.
You know, yes, we have to have sponsors, but we don't have corporate sponsors. We don't have a structure.
Right.
We don't have, yes, we have rules. We have things that we abide by, but we do not have a solid, stuck format of things that have
that is
to
crazy.
You know, I tried to go into broadcasting school, but they it was like $12,000.
Yeah, that's before the finance charges.
Let me shoot to a commercial real quick. Joe Leeper just said that our volume went really low all of a sudden, so I'm gonna kick us to a commercial real quick. Flip my board off, flip it back on, see if that changes anything. Plus, we talked way over anyway, so give me just a few minutes. I know we're at the 10:06. I'll play another song and we'll be right back. I'm going to play another David Lee Roth song just because we were talking about it. We'll be right back, everybody. It's just fun in the morning.
All right, I'm going to run out, guys.
Well, I
was trying to go.
Everything just stopped.
To go, but
But Scotty, I'm gonna run. Man, it's so good. I didn't know we were gonna connect this soon.
Yeah, I didn't either. When I said you was on the way, I was like, huh?
They said, never mind.
But anytime
1 2 1 2.
Come on and help and do anything.
Yeah, man. Anytime that you're out and about, dude.
Kids is my specialty.
Because of my disability.
And we try to ask me anything we can. It's just so much. Brother, man, anytime you're out and about, especially if you're around this part of town, just text me.
Anyway,
we had a guy that was a co-host. But he's having some family things, so he's having to stay at home for the summer. So for the next week, we've just been digging up. We want to bring in extra co-hosts so that we're not the same thing every day. So if you're free one day, if you see me post on there, 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Okay. So if you see me post need a guest for tomorrow, just send me a text. Dude, I'm in. Okay. You know, just because we want to do that.
Awesome. You guys are awesome.
Oh yeah, man. And forgive my mess. We started remodeling in November, and I can't catch up.
Well, I was hoping my son, he's in the car. I was hoping he'd wake up and want to know where I'm at, so he can come in and meet you guys.
Coach, is that what you do? Just go by.
Coach
See that leg? I got to fix that leg.
Okay, Joey. And you know you got it.
I don't know.
Wolfman Jack is all of what you sound
like. That's what I was drinking all what do you do Thursday night?
Thursday night, I got rehearsal at the church.
Okay, so I do a nighttime show.
When it ends at rehearsal ends at about 8:30.
Oh yeah, like 7 to 10.
7 to 10.
Yeah.
Maybe I can swing back for an hour. Never know.
Well, give me a call. That's what's up.
Okay. All right. And then listen, you got your phone on you now. I'm gonna give you my number now. The car, my phone's dead, but I'll give you my.
See, right now I'm doing like a revolving co-host thing.
Okay.
Stephanie's been sitting in with me, but I'm wearing her out. Her first job's the morning show, so.
Oh no.
There's no well no. Yes, the first job is the morning show.
Yeah. That was
what? Get messed up her whole night time. Yeah, but the point is, then it messed up her getting home, getting sleep on time. So we'll have to figure it out.
Yeah, because like I said, we do 7 to 10. Okay. It's a rock show, really.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, but the good thing is between the two of you, you can talk about any kind of music.
It's kind of free form, man. Yeah. So we kind of take it a little more edgy at night.
Yeah, I tried to go to broadcasting school. They wouldn't let me in because of my disability, dude.
Oh, really? And I'm sure that's how they have to view it. They have to. I mean, that's why I knew I wasn't going to be able to go, because me being dyslexic, it would have been, it just wouldn't work.
$12,000.
No, I'm just laughing. I was just looking at the back of Joey's ponytail. Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. Come on over here and get a picture.
At least I washed my hair this morning.
Yeah, come on.
Freaking phone is that?
What?
I looked at your picture.
Mine?
I was like,
oh, this is the i6, man. I love it. I love it.
Make me go to AT&T get another phone.
Man, this thing takes. And see, look, and with you taking pictures, the thing I like about it is if you put it on the 10-second delay,
right,
it counts down to 10, but it also will take a 10 snaps. Oh. That way, if somebody blinks, one of those 10, they won't be blinking.
Well, I call myself getting the window phone because it was 41 megapixels.
Here, Steph, get a picture. I don't know if you can lean in. I know you and your stubby arm.
T-Rex arms?
Yeah. A little tiny dinosaur arm.
Let me know when y'all are ready. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
One more.
Nobody. We have to pull stuff. She just pulls from whatever news and TMZ. Dude, yeah. I was actually I needed to meet you first because I wanted to ask you if you wanted to start handling that for me. Because it'll help get you exposure and help get me exposure. Because the way I look at it is you're not trying to do radio and I'm not trying to do video. Even though I do need you on some video, dude. I got like so many good ideas. Okay. Well, I'm telling you. Yeah. Quick. That's where Joey comes in handy. But look, all the video stuff, dude, I got so many ideas on so many stunts and it's just wild. Like I'm an ordained minister. We were wanting to have lots of videos for like, you know what a flash mob is, what they do to dance. I've got ideas to do flash mob weddings, but I got to have somebody video. And my problem is I can't do everything. I see how I want the video, but I can't do it. So, dude, I got so many great ideas, and then I do so much. Like we're going to close down the square on the 11th of this month. The 12th of this month. If you're free after church, we're doing a big thing for St. Jude Children's Hospital. Man, it's huge. Okay. Yeah, you'd love to come see that. All right, here we go. Yeah, we'll send each other's link. We got to go back live. Okay. Thanks for coming in. But we'll hook up because there's so much we can do together.
Yup. It was nice to meet you.
All righty. So Coach Marcus is leaving. Man, it was really great checking him out. I shared a video this morning.
Thank you.
I shared a video this morning that he had recorded. He does lots of the broadcasting stuff, which is really good because together, I believe him and I together can do a lot of cool things, you know, because we keep saying we need video for this, we need video for that. And truthfully, I can't do video and keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's too hard to do both.
Well, you can't be in one place doing 7 things. And when we were trying to add new cameras to the show, I find that, like right now, if anybody's watching YouTube, I can change, you know, things on the screen. But what I was finding is while I'm trying to do that, it takes me away from being me. It takes me away from doing what I need to do. So I need to, you know, that's what we had the intern for.
And I'm sure that he knows how to video stuff.
Oh yeah, he's dead on it. Well, did you see the video this morning from Linda Ham?
No.
Yeah, you had to check it out. Anybody, I did that post this morning. It was the first one of the morning. So you can go check it out, see where we shared it. And it was just something. Now that's just something he threw together real fast because, you know, we just did it Sunday and everybody's going, man, we need the video. So he's like, okay, here it comes. So, you know, and that's how it is. And that's the problem with Oz asking me for pics. I'm like, yeah, I'll take a pic, but if I don't text it to you right now, it might be a week before I get it posted because I just don't have time. And I'm not going to say it's poor time management on my end. I just can't seem to squeeze any more time.
No, your time is worn thin as it is.
I mean, I already know today. So let's see. Me and Steph leaves. I drop the bus off. She brings me back home. Then I got to get in the van. I got to run by Horizons. I mean, it's just by the time I get back home, it'll be 3-4 o'clock, and then I got to pick up the grandbaby and bring the grandbaby home, and then the wife don't get home till 9. I mean, it's just never ending.
Oh, dude, I understand. The past week and a half for me, it's just been nonstop. And time management with me being ADHD, like horribly ADHD, time management and me are not.
Our show starts at 6:30 in the morning.
It does. Oh yeah,
6:30. You need to be here any day you plan on being on the radio. I'm down here at 6:30. I expect you here at 6:30.
My zombie medication.
That way he might make it here by 7:30.
My zombie medication this morning. The alarm went off, and
I am busting you a little bit.
Marianne, she's like, you need to get up, and I'm like, ugh. She's like, you need to get up. I'm like, ugh. You know, and then finally I wake up and I'm stumbling out to get coffee, and I go on the porch and have a cigarette, and then I look at my phone. I'm like, oh crap. So I texted you, and I'm, trying to figure out what time it is, and I'm like, God, I'm gonna be late.
What time did you go to bed?
Oh, it was after midnight.
There's your problem.
Yep. Well, no, because I got home so late because we were at the house.
No, I know. I'm just saying that.
But the thing too is the Justin Bieber roast. I had.
Oh, is that on last night?
As soon as I got
Justin Bieber roast.
Yeah.
I saw him on television, but I didn't know anything about what was going on.
Well, dude, it was the roast of Justin Bieber, and
where is it the Comedy Channel kind of roast?
Yeah.
How did I miss it?
It's been they recorded it weeks ago. It just came on last night. Was the premiere?
I know
they recorded it weeks ago.
Man, I need to see that.
No,
Charlie
it
Sheen
was
funny.
hilarious. It was hilarious, but no. See, that's the thing is, as soon as I settle into bed and I take my medication, and everything, I put it on TV and it's on, and I could not stop, and I'm like dozing off.
But did you DVR it?
No, because the DVR doesn't play back in my bedroom. It plays back in all the other rooms.
Yeah, but you could have watched it somewhere tomorrow.
Well, see, that's the thing.
That's when you turn on like American Pickers that you know you're going to fall asleep.
I'm staying
watching.
in my parents' house, and there's no chance of me getting any other TV in that house.
Oh,
yeah. So
I die laughing because like I already have found certain shows that I fall asleep in.
Yeah, I have to have the TV on when I go to sleep.
I can put on if I put on something I really want to watch, I fall asleep. If it's a stupid movie, I don't fall asleep.
Yeah.
If it's something I'm like really intrigued in, CSI, I sleep. Some of my best sleep takes place during CSI.
Yeah.
You don't like CSI?
I didn't say that.
Oh.
I'm saying if I really want to watch it, I fall asleep. That's what I'm saying. Some of my best sleep's been to a CSI or a 2.5 Men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big Bang Theory.
You sleep the Big Bang Theory?
I love it.
Oh yeah.
But do you fall asleep during it?
No.
I can't help it.
I turn my TV off quietly.
Oh, see, I can't sleep in darkness and quiet. I can't.
Me neither.
No, I've got to have the TV or.
Are you scared of the dark? Are you scared of the dark?
No, it's just I guess
it's okay, sir.
It's
You're
the
scared of the
ADHD
dark.
or something, dude.
We'll go to the flea market and get you a glow worm.
You
can hug it, you can squeeze it, you can love
I
it.
put the sleep timer on and like it'll shut off when I fall asleep, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night because that's my biggest problem is I don't stay asleep.
Yep,
and I'll
me
wake
too.
up in the middle of the night, TV will be off to turn it back on to fall back.
See, I got a fan.
Yeah.
I got a fan with that
See,
roar.
That
That's how I
doesn't do it
sleep.
for me either. I don't know what it is.
Get you a sound machine.
I
Crickets,
I
trains.
had a white noise machine on my phone, an app that did like the plane, the train, the crickets, the ocean, all that stuff. It didn't work either.
Yeah, we used to have an alarm clock that had where it could play water or crickets or something like that. And
Back in the
that
cassette
didn't work.
days, I would record TV shows on cassette just so I could hit play. It would only last, whether it was a 30, 45 minute or a 90-minute cassette, it would only last that amount of time. And that way it shut off and I'd be asleep.
Yeah.
I slept to Grease. I did.
We go together.
Hey. Yeah, we were counting sheep. We went right together. Me, the pillow, the sheets, we were right together. So what do we got right here? Marcus's son came in.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
And what's your name?
Josiah.
Josiah. How old are you?
I'm 16.
16 years old. I'm telling you, we've been talking about how the youth is, and especially with your dad being who he is, man, you should be getting a good taste of the entertainment
You
world.
said you're a Sea Cadet.
Yes, sir.
Now, what does that mean?
We do drills once a month. We're sponsored by the Navy.
Is it like ROTC?
It's like that, but it's outside of school and there's more exposure.
That's pretty cool. So you're going into the service when you get out then?
I plan on it. I want to go to college first.
Cool.
So you become an officer? Is it like you become an officer automatically?
Yes,
sir. Awesome. That's what my
That's
dad
good.
ended up doing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we know some other people that did the ROTC and they're in the Air Force, and that's how they did what they did. They loved it.
Yeah.
Well, they're loving it. I mean, say they're not out; they're still in.
Yeah,
and that's good. And I actually have a friend. She just retired. Retired. She went in after high school. She went into the Air Force and just retired 20 years in with full package. I mean, it's pretty awesome to retire with a full package like that.
Oh, my dad, retiring a major, he makes a lot of money a year just in retirement.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the benefits too. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just
it's
a total package.
Yeah.
So, what do you want to do when you get in? What are you going for?
Well, when my dad used to ask me what I wanted to do, after college, I never really knew. I do marching band at school, and I always ask, why don't they have something professional for marching band, like afterwards,
right?
For marching and concert. And then while I was doing Sea Cadets, I was doing a training sub schools in Florida, and a guy told me that you could do music full time in the Navy
That's
or
right.
any other military branch.
Yeah,
the Navy's actually got a big band.
Well, that's what I was about to say. There was a guy that we know who lived in Norris Lake. Matter of fact, he got out of school and just didn't know what to do with himself. He started being he played drums, so he started being this drummer for this band. And no doubt, man, he just couldn't find a job. And all of a sudden, I bump into him one day. He's cut his hair off. I get to talk to him. I'm like, what are you doing? He says, I'm fixing to go into the Air Force to play drums. And I'm like, you're what? You're going into the Air Force to play drums? And he filled me in on all that type of information. I didn't even know. Yeah. That's what he does. Huh. He will be playing drums for every major event that takes place in the Air Force.
Wow.
So I'm just like, how cool is it? He is such a good drummer, but how cool is it to know that you're so good as a drummer that you'll be at every Air Force major event, which means he's going to travel around the entire world to play drums. I'm like, that's better than a rock band, better health care.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
You always got a place to live too.
And what do you play?
I play drums.
So you're with it too then. Isn't that cool to know that?
He said percussionist.
Isn't that just cool to know you're going to go and play like that?
Yeah.
You never, ever have to see any more.
That is cool.
I mean, isn't that just the neatest thing?
Yeah.
And you get to follow your passion, and you're actually being professional and still following your passion. You get my point?
Yeah.
So not only are you loving what you're doing, you still are getting that cool job that's going to give you the benefits in life.
And, you know, when you're a musician and you have to go out and get a real job, you end up not having time to pursue the music because you're working the real job.
He's got the best of both
worlds. This way,
worlds.
you get to play the music as your job. You know, it's kind of cool.
So when you go to college, you're going to study music and then go into the service?
Yes, I am.
Man, that is just cool.
Yeah.
And see, he's at that age
where he's young and he knows what
he's in that age group where if I determine myself, if I'm determined and I do this correctly, I'm going to do it. And that's what we try to push on everybody.
So we were too busy having fun.
Yeah. I know. And look where we are.
Not saying you're not going to have fun. We just had we had a different kind of fun. Probably not such a great kind of fun to have.
Yeah, but it was fun for us at the moment. But the problem is it wasn't fulfilling.
There were repercussions to the fun.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And that's the good thing. And you know, and the good thing is, I guess, and it's funny to compare this. Your father does what he does. My daughter has seen me do this, which is what's led my daughter going, okay, I've seen every one of dad's oopses and every one of his mistakes, and I've always been honest with my daughter. So she's been able to see life real and not under an illusion. So that's made my daughter a better kid because I didn't hide the reality from her.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's made her become who she is.
You can't baby him, man.
That's
you can't fake it.
Well, that's cool. That is really cool. So you were just sitting out in the car the whole time. Had no idea this was going on, did you?
No, sir.
Has your headache gone?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Good.
I heard you get the migraines too, man.
Yeah.
I used to get them real bad when I was younger. I still get them occasionally.
Yeah, I do too. That's why I have to wear glasses.
3 times as many women as men get migraines. But I grew up getting them all the time when I was a kid. I still get them occasionally. But when I was a kid, they would last 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. I've had one. The longest migraine episode that I've ever had, it lasted 9.5 days.
Man. Yeah, wow.
Advil, it's an Advil migraine.
Excedrin.
I like that too because I swap.
Yeah.
That way you don't take too much of one pill.
Yeah.
But the mornings I wake up and that head's hurting, I just go ahead and I drink my coffee. I pop 2 of those Advil.
Well, the coffee probably doesn't help.
Well, you know.
Well, sometimes some of the
most of the I was gonna say most of them are caffeine.
Yeah, have migraine, have caffeine.
Well, you know, I found out the prescription stuff was the only thing that worked for me. And when I was about 12, is when they first came out with something called Imutrex.
Yeah,
and Imutrex was only available in a shot form back then.
That's what I used.
And I used to have to be able to give myself a shot in the thigh when I was a 12-year-old kid. Now this is crazy, giving myself a shot in the thigh in the bathroom at school, you know, to get rid of my migraine.
I started out with that, and then from there I went to Zomig. And then now I'm back on the Imatrax, but I've had to go to the emergency room and get an emergency shot or to my doctor's office.
I had to leave summer camp when I was a kid one time because they didn't know what to do with me. They took me to the hospital and they sent me home from summer camp.
Yeah.
They were like, well, we don't know what to do. It was like I had a horrible migraine. They actually ended up giving me a shot of Demerol for a migraine.
Oh,
that's a bit odd.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Well, look, y'all, we're at 10:25.
Oh wow.
What are you doing tomorrow? That's a hard answer. It's a
What's
Wednesday.
tomorrow? Wednesday.
Wednesday, hump day.
As of right, hump day.
Well, you know us. We're trying to run some co-host so that we have different blood and not always the same. So if you're open
as
tomorrow,
of right now,
if not, I got another gentleman that said he might be able to make it tomorrow too.
I'm booked to work Thursday. I think I'm available tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty
so
sure.
We're just trying to
So
keep a good mix of people.
6:30, right?
6:30 a.m.
6:30.
I'm serious. I'll be down here with a coffee running, waiting.
6:30.
Mm-hmm.
And don't be telling yourself 6:30 and you know it's really 7:30.
No, it's 6:30.
Yeah, because
we're doing the pre-show.
Yeah, I get here at like 6:45-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because you're on point, Steph. I'm proud of you. You have evolved
She's
so
trying
much.
to be the number 2.
Yeah.
Right.
She is number 2.
Which means she just has to cover
She's
stuff.
seated at the right hand of the Father.
Oh my God. Don't fall for that one. She's already trying to be like me wearing glasses.
I know.
She comes in.
This
I'm having
DJ
headaches. I got to wear glasses
DJ
like you.
Junior.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Thursday I go to the eye doctor and
I shall
hopefully-
call her Mini Me.
she's already got the height going.
Yeah, I used to have seizure when I was a kid, and as I got older, it gotten better. So
And are you having any eye problems?
no.
See, me, bright white light is what kills me.
And this place is filled with it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I've changed them. You noticed I don't have the 5,000K anymore. I went back to warm white.
It's kind of light.
That 5,000K was just killing stuff.
Yeah, it's actually kind of. It's not the white.
It's more soothing.
Yeah,
It's the Venus flytrap look. We went from the morning show to the cool sounds.
The smooth. It's the quiet store.
That's right.
With DJ Scotty.
Well, look, thanks. I'm glad you came in. By the way, Coach was on, and then he was like sneaking back in. I didn't know if something was wrong.
Well, he told me when we were outside, he was like, "I'm going to check on my son, and maybe bring him back down if he's feeling better." I'm like, "Cool."
And what's funny is a lot of people, because my house is my house, and we've been remodeling, so there's cut up 2x4s laying outside the door, and so people go, "Man, he's got a studio," and then they come through the curtain, and it's like,
Yeah.
I didn't have the black curtains pulled over there, which I should have. But yeah, you come in and you see the show totally different than what you would imagine.
People kind of get scared when they walk around to the back of the house. You're like, "Am I in the right place?"
I
And they
should
open
start
the door
putting my
and
dog on a chain that only reaches
with like a tire, a
Yeah.
chewed up tire out back, and
yeah.
Yeah.
Start making it funny.
Yeah.
All right, 10:27. What else we got? Anything? I got Jeff's wedding this afternoon. Remember, Jeff, if I don't hear from you by 1, the wedding's not this afternoon, but it's this weekend. But if I don't hear from Jeff by 1, he probably needs to call me back because we got to discuss what's happening. I got a doctor's appointment at 1. Look, I was saying
You've been
all
going to
the
the
stuff.
doctor a lot lately.
Well, I showed up to the doctor late last week.
Yes, he did.
You were late?
Friday.
Oh yeah, I was supposed to be there at 1. I got there at 1:40.
Yeah.
And then they let me sit down, they let me check in, and then they said, by the way, the 1:30 got here, so she can't do you by. So I have to make sure by 1 o'clock I'm there today.
Just follow up to your last week.
Yeah, yes, it would have been if I'd have made last week.
Yeah.
So hey, go to the doctor, do what you got to do.
I
All right,
understand.
everybody, we're gonna roll up out of here.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody coming in. Corey, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
You.
Happy birthday to you.
You.
Happy birthday, dear Corey.
You're a douchebag.
Happy birthday to you.
Now don't throw your panties on stage.
That's pretty good, y'all.
That was pretty good.
Was it good?
You still
cool.
might get a prank call tomorrow just because you
dared us.
Yeah, you kind of said you're not gonna get me.
You might get a call from Vinny.
You might have
Vinny might be calling.
We might get a pizza delivered to your house. You might
Hey,
have to
this
pay
is
for it.
Vinny. How you doing?
Have a couple of pizzas delivered there, COD.
Yes.
Don't deliver it.
I have 19 pizzas.
Yeah, I have 19 small pizzas. You know what I mean? Instead of 19 large,
19 pizzas cut in half,
you said
individually
19
boxed.
Yeah, you said 19 smalls. It's like, why did you order 19 small pizzas? Why didn't you just order like 6 large?
Yeah.
Well, because they wanted different pizzas.
Yeah. With
That's
no,
what you
with
do
no
is
toppings.
order every one of them extremely different from the previous one.
Yes.
All right, y'all, 10:30, we're going to roll up out of here. Everybody have a
We're actually
great,
ending on time.
terrific day. I have another one of the Huey Lewis songs coming up. You got to bear with me because I actually like it. So anyways, everybody, it's just for fun. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Pow.
Later.
Bye, y'all.
Pow.
You can try, but you ain't gonna get me.
There goes.